The content you are about to view may contain strong language or offensive dialogue. Please feel free to send your angry letters. However, I won't read them. You've been warned, and thank you for watching. Hello, everybody. This is the Unwatchable podcast. Once again, I am joined by the Distraction, Disaster Dave, and the obnoxious man on my screen to the left, Zoodude. We are having some internet technical difficulties tonight on their end.
What's this we?
Really?
It all looks good on my end. It all looks good here. And that's all I care about. So apparently I sound like a robot.
We burst out laughing.
It sounds like I'm like taking dick from a robot while singing harmonica. So yeah, if they just laugh randomly like the idiots they are right now, it is because I have gone all robotic and they are children and can't deal with it.
I can't.
So that would probably be a cue. Today, we're going to talk. This is going to be our E3 episode. Hopefully, we're going to do this every year. We're going to talk about E3 today. It happened over the course of last weekend and past couple days. That's pretty good, actually. You'd fit right in the hood. So we're going to talk about E3, the games that we were most impressed and that we're most excited for, and it's going to be 2.5 hours of probably this. So please look forward to that.
Enjoy
all of that. I hate you both.
God. You should hate your ISP.
I do. That's why I'm upgrading to a better service.
I love them right now so much.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. You should send them a thank you.
I still love the fact, hey, you want faster internet? All right, we're going to fucking butcher the shit out of yours for a month.
Yeah, how much sense does that make? To give me faster internet, they have to give me slower internet for a month. Like, that is so fucked up. But yeah. We're going to talk about video games today and not my shitty internet. So first, we're going to open it right up, and I'm going to say, all right, guys, I want to know the game. Let's do top 5 on the list. Do you want to do top 5 or top 10?
Oh, 5.
You want 5? And then we'll just slingshot through the rest that we think are going to be good at the end? All right. Dave, I want to know the game you are looking forward to 5th most that came out this year at E3. We're going down. Count down.
Okay, 5th most. Oh God, let's see.
And they're not all here, so if you know of a game that I did miss, I typed out all of them from the conferences, but I did miss EA's conference and I did miss Ubisoft's, and Bethesda's, but nobody cares about Fallout VR, so
pretty much. 5th most, I would say Detroit, Almost Human.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you a David Cage
really like
fan?
The concept of it.
Did you like Fahrenheit?
Really. I did, yeah.
Yeah? Did you like... What was another one? It was a Soul game, right? Something Soul. Had Ellen Page in it. Did you play that?
Nope.
No. So what about... If you're not a fan of the actual guy behind the games, which most people are like, you either love David Cage or hate David Cage games, what is it about it that you're interested in?
I told you, just the concept. It looks kind of similar to iRobot from the perspective of the robots.
That's actually
a
really badass comparison.
Oh, hell no.
But yeah, I really liked the interesting concept of it. It looks like you have a lot of decisions you can make. Like you can be violent, you can kill people, you can riot, set things on fire, or you can be kind of like the pacifist approach. Which is interesting.
Bad when I saw... We're talking about the Android thing, right?
Yes.
Is it bad where my immediate reaction was, well, we fucking made you, so you better do what we tell you to do? Am I a bad person?
No, not really.
Okay. For maybe other various reasons, I'm gonna do the squeaky noise and go.
All right.
But no, robots should be our slaves, and we should make them do whatever we want.
Doesn't that make you our slave?
Got stuck like this on my screen. You're like stretched out like a fucking aardvark.
So
it's gonna be good, man. I'm glad I'm recording this because this is fucking gold.
great. That's what I love to hear. Last time you
gold.
recorded part of the podcast, it did not go well for me. It involved a tissue.
I think it went fantastic.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
So we saw some amazingness.
So, Zudude, on the list.
I still can't sit down.
What is a game that you're looking forward to on there? Your top 5th most anticipated E3 announcement.
So, all right. So I wrote down 5 that I was interested in. So I think the 5th one would be the Monster Hunter for PlayStation.
I'm so excited for that.
So I've never played Monster Hunter. It's one of those games that I feel like I would really like, but I just never picked up and got into. And like, it sounds like from other people, this is kind of like a light version of the game, probably a little more casual, which I think will be good because I've heard Monster Hunter can be like super grindy, and you can just dump hours and hours into it.
Yeah, it's
so
like
this might be a good like. It looks fantastic. It looks like a lot of fun. Yeah. So I mean, if it's a little more casual friendly, I think it's going to be a good jump into the series. So I think it's like the first one that's not on a Nintendo system or like a handheld in like a really long time.
They had PS2 days or Wii days.
They had one on the PSP. I do know that there was one there. It was Monster Hunter Tri, I believe, was on the PSP. Mm-hmm. But yeah, all of the other ones for a long time have been on the Wii or Wii U.
But no, it looks great. I mean, I like big fucking monsters, so I like gear and loot. So I think this is going to be it's gonna be a fun thing to pick up.
Nice. I'm also very excited for that game. I'm glad you picked it because now I can scratch it off of my top 5. So thank you. Yeah, the game is fantastic. Like, it looks fantastic. It's gorgeous. The one thing that I didn't really care for was like the scene that they really like showed the game, like the gameplay scene was like you were picking this fight with this one boss baddie and like he just runs. Like there isn't like this epic fight that goes down. It's like dinosaur, you're fighting dinosaur, and then you just like turn around and run, and like it's just him chasing you through a cave, and then like it just looked like a lot of running, and that
it was cool though that they set up a trap.
Yeah,
I really like that. He actually set up a trap to like get it caught in that to make it easier for him to attack it, which was I like that.
Yeah, it was a really cool looking game, and it looks like light version of Monster Hunter. Yeah, I'm excited for that too. So
I'm excited too. The main thing about that though is I played some of the ones on like the PSP, on the 3DS. I picked up one of the latest ones that came out, and the thing that I hated about that was the control scheme.
Yep.
I could not stand it, and the fact that you had to like on the new 3DS, you have to use the little C stick over there to look around.
Yeah,
that's what I bought.
Oh my god,
I had it
awful.
I had it for the 3DS.
So using this,
perfect.
That's gonna be so much better. That's the main, because I would love to get into the series. I just don't like it on handheld. A lot of people do. I don't.
The downside to it is like it's gonna look really great on like a console, like a full-fledged console, but the way the game plays is it's similar to way like I compared to Skya I think a couple weeks ago, where the game feels very heavily portable inspired. It really does play like it's a good pickup, go out, grab some materials or grab some farm some little creatures and then come back, and then maybe when you get home later on, go out and gear up for the big fight. Which is why the Switch version that they came out for another one of them. Shut up, Dave. I see you. Fuck you. The one that's
we're doing really good.
You are. You guys are.
You have no idea how many.
I'm just looking at Dave the whole time because like not only like when you go roboty, your video like either freezes or slows down, then it catches up, so you go,
and then you talk really fast too.
Yeah, it's funny.
I always talk really fast, but yeah, I think that to follow up on the Monster Hunter for the PS4, there is one coming for the Switch as well, and it's going to be cool to see them go together, like to see which one does better. The one for the Switch is a redo. It's already been released like twice. It's like a re-release of a re-release. but I hadn't played it, so I'm okay with that. And they're re-releasing like the best of the best from what I understand of the Monster Hunter series. So I'm looking forward to that.
Cool.
I'll definitely, because
Yeah.
the Switch is like Dave said, it's got the 2 legit analog sticks. It's got the full controls.
Yeah, it would probably be pretty good on the Switch. I think that it would do really good on the Switch if people could buy Switches.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw one.
Did
saw
you?
one in the city.
Holy shit!
Which city?
Disgusta.
I don't know if I want to drive all the way there this week. Was it just one? Because it won't be there when I get there.
It was in a Target. Yeah, it was like one.
Wow. I'd love to get one for the wife. It's her birthday.
And I walked by. I'm like, well, that's fucked up. I can't believe that's there.
I found mine at a random Walmart. Like, there were just 2 of them
Yeah.
sitting in the case, and like I thought this guy was gonna stab me for the box. So, but
Well,
yeah.
what's your number 5, Mr. Man?
My number 5. I gotta scroll through. I had a different plan for how we were gonna go down tonight. So,
Monster Hunter was one of
sounded
my top
so bad.
5, so now I have to find something else.
yeah, that's a problem for me.
Well, we just talked about it. So fuck it.
Let's just talk about them as we get to them.
We'll
I guess.
just
I don't know.
we'll just go in circles and pick a game on the
That's
list.
exactly
We'll just
what I
pick one
said.
each,
Yeah, but
God damn you guys.
I wanted to make it more
Fuckers.
streamlined and look cool, like we planned ahead. Dave didn't even look
We
at
are
the list
not
until 2 minutes
streamlined.
ago.
We don't plan ahead. Come on. Who are you kidding?
Do you have any idea how long it took me to make this list? And then I get a message from Zoodude, and he's like, I think we should just talk about whatever we think we should talk about. I'm like, dude, I just watched 7 hours of fucking conversation and people dickwads standing on stage. By the way, Phil Spencer is the worst person to talk about games. I hate that guy. He's just boring. But my game is going to be Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
You just
That
jumped
was-
so far.
What do you mean?
You were like, my Mario. You cut out like 5 words in the middle there, and it was
Mario
awesome.
plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. So for those of you that didn't know, while they're giggling at me, it is a Mario and Rabbids combination game. It is a collaboration between Ubisoft and Nintendo, which is actually really cool. It's been in
And
development.
disgusting.
It's been in development for
Right.
about 3 years, and the game just looks really fun. It is a tactical RPG with Mario and Rabbids, and
Right.
basically
They compared it to like XCOM.
Yep.
Like it was XCOM with Rabbids and Mario.
That
Which-
actually sounds really interesting.
it is.
Yeah,
It looks really
just
good.
like it's like fucking somebody just picks like 3 random fucking games out of a hat and it's like, all right, we have to make a game out of these 3 elements.
It's
Like,
like
they
a-
don't
That
sound like
that
they
sounds
should go
kinda cool.
together,
It was like a Mad Libs at a Nintendo conference or something.
right?
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It looks fun. I like the twist on the Mario world. And when I was
I won't touch
younger,
it.
I've only played like maybe one like game with Rabbids in it. I think it was Rayman and the Rabbids combination.
Yeah.
Their humor is really like funny to me. It's very slapstick. It reminds me of the Minions from the Despicable Me movies, where they're very hit or miss, but they have a very good way of like having an adult sense of humor about them without like ever saying anything. So kids just see a little robot, a little yellow guy laugh and giggle, but really there's like an innuendo in it, and I like that kind of humor. So, and the Rabbids are very similar to that, and I think it's going to be fun to see what Ubisoft of all companies does with a Mario franchise, because Nintendo keeps their shit very close, and it's weird that that's who they decided to team up with. So, yeah, I'm excited for that. I think it'll be fun. Dave, next game. What do you got?
Shadow of the Colossus.
I knew that was coming.
You had to know that was coming. That
Yep.
was one of my favorite games growing up, honestly, when I first played that. And I played Ico as well on the PS2. And
It looked gorgeous.
it does. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people say, it just ripped off Zelda. It does have a Zelda feel to it. Mainly because you're riding a horse. One of the bosses looks kind of similar to one from like Wind Waker or something like that. but
He's on a horse. That's fucking Zelda. Nobody
it's
else
Zelda.
has done that.
He's on a horse. Yep. But it was just the sense of the scale of the game and how insignificant you felt versus the bosses. I really enjoyed it, and I know they re-released it later on.
Yeah.
On what, PS3?
Yeah. I think it was
it was PS3. They
yeah.
bundled them together, Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, and now they're not doing like just a re-release. It looks like they're completely remaking the game with modern visuals, and that looks awesome.
Hopefully it goes better than the last game they released, because...
Yeah. So that Shadow of the Colossus is one of the games that, like, I feel bad 'cause it's something I should have played and never did. Like, when it came out, I was just, like, balls deep in JRPGs, and, like, if there weren't hit points or leveling, like, I did not give a fuck about the game. And, like, you know, a couple years later, people are just, like, everybody's just says it's just one of the most amazing games ever.
Yeah.
And I just never picked it up, and, you know, now it's, like, harder to fucking play a PS2 game because Sony, for some odd fucking reason, doesn't want to include any emulated PS2 games except for, like, 12 on their store.
Yeah.
That's just smart. But so I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to actually getting a chance to play it and experience it, and obviously it just visually looks amazing. So I'm looking forward to that as well, as a new person to that.
Cool. So what's your what's another game, Zoodude?
So this is like my top game out of E3, and this fucking came out of nowhere.
You're going right for the top game?
Oh yeah, yeah. So it's the Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Nice.
I knew it.
It looks so fucking incredible. Like, I didn't even know they were making a Dragon Ball fighting game. It's made by the same people who did Guilty Gear, so it has that same, like, their trademark of, like, making it's way better than, like, cel shaded what they have in, like, the Xenoverse games. Like, it just looks like the anime but 3D. Like, it's really incredible. However they do that, it's fucking nuts. But it just looks spot on like the anime, and it just looks like a Dragon Ball fighting game should be. Like, it just looks like fast-paced, intense. There's fucking energy bombs and kamehamehas and just shit exploding everywhere. And I'm really excited to it. And so it's a 3v3 fighting game. So like the old Marvel vs. Capcom, which was a super fun game. They have a very different feel than just like traditional fighting games. So yeah, it just caught me off guard. I love Dragon Ball Z. So I'm gonna play the shit out of it.
Yeah,
who doesn't love Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah,
Come on.
I mean, everybody
Fucking
loves
weird
that.
people.
But it looked good. Like, it was the first time I've seen a fight. I remember one of the only fighting games I played as a kid was Dragon Ball Budokai. Like, the Budokai series was a lot of fun.
That was great.
It was
I
a
love that
fantastic fighting series.
And like, from what I've heard about, like, people have played it, it seems it's a lot easier to access than like Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear is a little bit harder of a game to get into. This has a lot of, like, it's easier to they have like kind of like beginner combos. Like, you can just mash a button and you'll do a combo, but like if you want to actually get real advanced, there's, you know, more stuff you can do. But it seems like, from what I've heard people say, it's really quick to pick up. The characters play very similar, so which can be good or bad. I mean, obviously the game's like only 20% done, so we won't know much until like early next year. But it just seems like, you know, you can just kind of pick it up really easy and then get more advanced as you play, which I think that's always a good thing for a fighting game. You want it to be accessible, but then have a lot of depth to it.
Cool. Yeah. I think the next game I would love to talk about is Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I don't know. Did either of you play Ori and the Blind Forest?
Mm-mm.
So
I've thought about it many times.
I have too. It's been sitting in my Steam cart for like ever, and it's actually on sale right now. Well, it was this past weekend. And I actually bought it today. Supposedly it's like one of the best platformers in story games like made in decades.
That's
Like,
what I've heard.
It's supposedly
Like, it's fucking
spectacular.
incredible.
And
The art style is beautiful.
it
Like,
is.
It's
It's
just
gorgeous.
it's one of those games that it looks like a living storybook. Like it's
Right.
just amazing.
When I saw the trailer, it was one of the most beautiful, and like the music for the trailer, they actually played it live on a piano. It was spectacular. So I'm gonna actually be running, ha ha ha. I'm gonna be running Ori and the Blind
We're
Forest
not laughing.
on my channel, starting next week, so that I can get ready
We're
for that.
smiling because we're happy with what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yes.
you are.
I'm a very happy person.
So I'm very excited to give that a shot and then get ready for the new one, going forward. So, Dave.
That will be cool.
Yeah.
Oh God, next. Let's see.
Next.
Scroll.
I know it's a list, isn't
Days
it?
Gone. I was actually like when
Big
they
fucking
first
list.
announced that. They announced that last year at E3, Days Gone, I think. They showed a little bit of it. And I watched that and then I just kind of forgot about it, and then they showed it again this year at E3, and it actually looks really good, but I'm kind of a fan of survival zombie types games anyway. So I think that the main character looks like a fucking badass, and the game itself looks fun.
It's a Walking Dead simulator.
Yeah.
Kind of, except the zombies can run.
Looks like it.
That's true.
So, you know. But I like how, like, what they did show. They showed a guy kind of blowing up a fence and then allowing, like, a horde of zombies to come in and attack this camp so that he could get past the camp and stuff
Right.
like that. Just
So
kind of, I'm hoping that there's going to be different ways that you can go through each different objective. Like, you can distract them different ways, or you can just let zombies in to kill them or anything like
how
that.
scripted do you think that was? Because the feeling I got like from a lot of the
It
trailers
looked pretty scripted.
is everything
Yeah,
looked very
a lot of 'em.
scripted.
Yeah,
It's
the
all
Anthem trailer was about the most scripted fucking thing
Oh
I've
my
seen
God, that
Which
was
one?
painful
in a
and
long
we'll,
time.
We'll talk about that.
Anthem.
oh yeah.
Like, it was just like, look at this world that it just so like what's that piece of shit called? No Man's Sky fucking ruined this shit for me, because that was the first game, but they said like, look at this like in-game footage that was like very scripted with like, you know, the very vibrant colored planet with like the big like fucking brachiosaurus dinosaur and shit. And
Never
then you get in
found
the
that.
game and it's just like there's nothing like that. And they're pretty notorious for doing that, of like, even like, I know Witcher 3 did it. They had like in-game footage, and then the actual game wasn't as detailed as that.
Yeah,
Watch
Watch Dogs did it.
You got to take those with
Oh
like
God,
a grain of
Watch
salt.
Dogs is a good example.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
obviously-
notorious for it.
The game's not finished, so they're going to, you know, obviously they want to create a buzz and excitement, so they're going to make it look as good as possible and script
Yeah.
cool things, but it just comes across very unnatural and kind of cringy
Yeah.
when
So
you have
we'll-
like
So, I
people.
mean,
We'll swing back
faking,
around
like-
to Anthem.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah.
I
I mean,
want to
as
swing
far as
back
Days
around,
Gone
but for
goes-
Days Gone,
Yeah.
I want to see more. Like, I'm gonna follow it more as long as I remember that it exists, to kind of try and see if they release more details about it, and maybe I'm hoping that it's not super scripted as far as all of the events go and stuff like that in the game. But it looks cool anyway.
cool. Yeah, I won't. I don't think I'll pick it up, but it does look good. So maybe it's I'll watch it on your channel kind of game. So Zoodude, what's another one on the list that you're madly in love with?
So next one is, I haven't looked a lot into this one, just because I don't want to spoil too much. It's the sequel to Shadow of Mordor, the Shadow of War.
Yeah.
Shadow of Mordor was a fucking amazing game. I
Yeah, it
loved
was.
that system. I loved the arch enemy. I loved like just the whole concept of it. Really great game. Like, just mechanic wise, it just could not find a lot of faults with it.
Did you
I
I
finish
never
it?
played it.
I didn't finish it.
You didn't?
I think I'm going to.
I don't know anyone who's
Probably.
finished it.
From what I hear, it's a very, very long game.
Yeah, I think like the story is like the traditional, like, I think somewhere between 10 and 20 to just like go through a story. But if you want to complete it, yeah, I think that's like a beast. It
Yeah.
takes after like the Assassin's Creed model of, there's just a lot of hidden shit, a lot of like side stuff you can do. The combat was so much fun. It took like Batman Arkham Asylum to like, like another level. Like you just fight hordes of orcs, and then like a fucking big bash will come by, challenge you, and then like another one will come in, and you're just like, I'm gonna fucking die.
Yeah,
like,
that game could
then
go
they kill
bad
you, and
really
they
quick.
Oh man, I've had it like like 3 of them around the corner, just like, fuck it, run away.
Yeah,
Like, I can't deal with this shit. But this one seems like, I don't know, it just seems like it's like a little bit broader scope. It seems like now you actually control like your own army.
Yeah, it looked really cool.
I'm interested to see how that plays out. I haven't looked too much into it because it's not like I'm not overly excited about it, but I'm excited enough that I'm definitely going to pick it up, and I'd rather it just be all completely fresh and just find out that way and kind of be excited for the game. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely excited for it because the first one was just incredible. So
Yeah, it's definitely a game that I would highly recommend. It's super cheap now, and like Dave, if you haven't
you can
played
get it for like
Yeah.
fucking like
Yeah,
$5
I haven't played it.
about anywhere.
I own it.
you own
I
it.
have it in my Steam library. I just haven't downloaded it because it's 50 something fucking gigs.
Do it at work.
Yeah, I would just bring in your computer and just set it up there.
Yeah.
I might have to do that because I do want to play it.
Yeah, it looks good. And like Zudu said, the first one was fantastic. I'd highly recommend it to anybody watching this to pick that up and
Like
give
if
it a
you
play.
like, even if you don't give a shit about like Lord of the Rings, if you liked, like, it's basically Assassin's Creed mix of Batman Arkham Asylum. Like it's like those two games just like, and they threw it in like the movie Lord of the Rings world.
Right. Basically,
it's great.
they Horizon Zero Dawn the genres.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
they
one
made
of
it
those-
as good as possible.
It's one of those like Blizzard-esque things where they said, we like all these good elements, so we're just gonna make our own game, and it fucking works.
Right. On that
The
note,
story's a little, but that you're not really playing for the story.
on that note of Horizon Zero Dawn,
You see
though,
somebody die first thing. Fucking brutal.
on the note of Horizon Zero Dawn, they announced an expansion, and that's actually one of the things I'm very excited for. After finishing Horizon Zero Dawn here on the channel, the fact that an expansion is coming out not only intrigues me for a story situation, but just that world in general and getting to go to an entirely new area. And it's not a DLC, it is a legitimate expansion, which is something
So,
that I've never seen
How
on
long
console.
do you think it's gonna be? They say expansion, but do you think it's gonna be a legit like? So the only game that, to my like recent memory, that didn't do DLC and kind of did legit expansion was The Witcher 3.
Yep.
And those things were fucking massive from
The
what
first,
I've heard. Like
the
they're
first one
they're
wasn't
their
as
own
long.
games.
Um,
But I think the second one
Yeah.
was
the
like
second one is
like a 30 or 40 hour fucking.
right.
Fallout 4
Right.
did the same thing with one of theirs. One of theirs that they released was like 40 hours or some shit like that.
Yeah. But then they had a couple that were like
Really short.
Yeah. a lot
5 with
shorter.
just a bunch of shit. So like that's the thing is like I hope if it's between 10 and 20, like a story mission that's 10 to 20 hours, like I'd say, if they charge the typical like 15, I think it's like 15 or $20 is what the pre-order price is on it.
I didn't see it.
Basically, I think if you can get 10 to 20 just straight story hours out of it and then extra side stuff, I'd say that's worth it. But if it's that like 5 hour bullshit with some extra items, like if it's just basically a fancy item pack,
Yeah.
that's shitty. But I don't think they're going to do that. And
Just the way
seeing
they-
what they did with this game, I don't think that company and the reception it got, I don't think they're doing this as a money grab. I think they're doing it as like a legit, they want to expand more
Yeah.
on this game and
The
the
way-
world it's in.
The way that the game is set up too doesn't really allow for a short content update. Like, even if they just give you a
Yeah.
new area and they say, here you go, like, you could easily kill 5 hours in that game just wandering
Right, yeah.
around shooting
Yeah,
at
that's true.
robots. Like, so as long as the area is a good size and there's like maybe one new type of robot, which I didn't see any new robots in the reveal, which you would think they'd brag about that.
Or maybe they are saving it to
maybe.
surprise you.
But I'm very excited. The downside is after that, I was like, oh, I can't wait to play that here on my channel. And then I was like, oh, I got rid of the game. Oh, and
Yeah.
the PlayStation that I played it on.
Oh,
Fuck me.
you did. Oh my god.
So in order
That
to,
sucks.
I had updates turned on my PlayStation. I'm gonna see if I have any of the Horizon Zero Dawn story content saved.
Yeah.
I
You
don't.
probably have your save games.
Yeah,
I don't think. I think even if you delete like the fucking game from your system, I'm pretty sure the saves don't get deleted unless you specifically go into your
Yeah.
memory and
I
delete
had-
those. I'm pretty sure. Those
Prey
save.
was sitting there. So when I upgraded, Prey was on there. So I'm hoping that Horizon will also be sitting on there.
Well, that's
Hopefully.
a pickle you got yourself in.
Yeah, if it's on there, I'm gonna play it on the channel. If it's not, sorry, channel. So Dave, what's another one you're looking forward to?
God of War. I
Yeah,
played the God of War games on PS2. Yeah, PS2, right?
yeah, PS2. There wasn't one on the
PS2.
PS3.
Yeah. So
Yeah, there
I
was.
like,
Wasn't it 3? 3 was on the
was
PS3.
3 on PS3?
I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought the only thing a PS3
Yeah,
got
it
was the
on
remaster.
PS3.
No, God of
No, I'm
War
pretty sure it got
3,
both.
Did it?
PlayStation 3.
Oh, look at
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, I played it originally. I liked it, but I actually feel like I like the direction that this one is going even more. It's like
yeah.
God of War, The Last of Us.
Yeah,
It
I
looks
'cause
really cool. I like that they're changing the mythology and everything.
I very much agree. Like I played the first one, didn't play 2 or 3, but it's so dated in like that early, like mid 2000s, like kind of
Yeah.
like over the top ish. You know, finding. I mean, I know people like that. I think that was one complaint I heard somebody talk about is like it's not the same Kratos. He's not like fucking roided raging out and killing
Yeah,
things.
he's matured.
It seems like a real character. Like
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm actually a lot more excited about it than I thought I would be after watching the trailer and just seeing how it seems like it's more of a story-driven game, honestly.
Yeah. Last of Us,
And
I think, is
I'm
a good
actually
comparison.
really looking forward to it. Yeah, it's like God of War meets The Last of Us, which didn't see any The Last of Us 2 news.
Yeah,
so...
what the fuck was up with that? They fucking teased that in front of us last year. We don't get to see anything this year at all. Not even a whim. We get that crappy
also-
female Nathan Drake game. Like, what the fuck? Nobody cares about Uncharted. The series is over. We don't want the crappy side story. We want The Last
He's Cade
of Us
6
too.
now, motherfucker.
It's like,
Is that a different? No, that's Nolan North. I get those two mixed up. They're two snarky, you know, wisecracking
Voice
anti-heroes.
actors.
So, yeah, my bad. Fuck them.
Another thing that they left out that a lot of people are pissed off about is the Final Fantasy VII remake.
why would they bring that up
Oh, I
again?
completely
It's never
forgot
gonna
about
come
that.
out. I was not shocked
it's
that it
not.
wasn't there. I was
Well, they
not
had it
one
2
bit.
years ago. 2015's E3 is where they announced it on
Yeah.
Sony's conference, and then 2016 they had actual in-game footage, supposedly, of the combat system. You know, kind of part of the first mission and everything. And then this year they had nothing, which is a lot of people
It's-
are like,
never
did
coming
we
out.
lose hope?
It's never coming
Yeah.
out. Internet, stop. It's not coming out.
It would have made a lot of sense for them to release it this year because this is the 20th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII. But they kind of missed that
That means
opportunity.
we have to
So,
wait till the
Square
30th year anniversary,
Yeah.
which is more in
Or the
line for a
50th.
release date for 50th.
Fuck.
So Zooted, what's another one here on the list that you're
Let me take a quick look. There's a
or
lot
if
of
there's
shit
one
I
you
really
just
don't
if there's
care
just
about.
one you want to bitch about.
I want to bitch about.
Yeah.
Well, I was surprised, especially with the Xbox One X. I was shocked they did not announce a new Halo. Like absolutely, even just like a teaser, like something that's like 2019. You know, because when did Halo 5 come out? That was like a year or two ago, right? So-
I don't know. I don't follow Halo.
I think
I'm
it
not
was
gonna
2
lie.
years ago because it came out a year after the Master Chief Collection, and that's been
Yeah.
out for quite a while now.
Right. I mean, I was just shocked because that's like Halo has like that's what propelled Xbox into its success. Like that was the system seller, and it's just kind of gone down since 3.
I don't think
so
it's the system seller anymore.
No, fuck. I mean, I was a little surprised they didn't have that. What's another one that I did not like? Call of Duty. Fuck it.
Nope.
Oh, here's a game I'm actually interested in. The new Spider-Man looks great.
Yes.
I was gonna mention that one. Yeah.
Another one that has like that Arkham Asylum combat because that's like probably some of the best. Like whoever made that combat system is a fucking genius because that's probably one of the most fun action fighting systems like in a video game in like for a new like generation. It's just great. Like so many people have copied it because it's awesome. I found it really surprising. People were bitching about the QuickTime event, and I didn't understand why. Like, I don't know why all of a sudden people hate QuickTime events. Like,
people have always hated them.
Fit. If it's for like, basically, it's like an interactive cutscene. Like,
yeah,
I don't mind that. Like, because you're not really focusing on doing much. You're kind of it's like this. It's keeping you in like the action of like the scene. Like, so you have to like kind of, it really keeps you, I think it makes you like a little more engaged because you have to like time stuff right, make sure you're timing, you can't really zone out. But besides, I mean, it just looks great. We haven't had a good Spider-Man game since like fucking Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation 2. So it would be nice for him to get a
little bit of
little justice.
I was surprised.
And I'm glad they're not doing like a movie Spider-Man, like it's his own thing.
Yeah.
Like it's got like a unique costume, which is good because then they can do whatever they want for villains and a story and not have to worry about like Disney. Like, well, you can't do that because we, need to pay us $1 billion.
Well, I don't think
it seems like
Disney doesn't own Spider-Man still. They
No,
made a
Sony
deal with
does.
they made a deal with Sony to get the rights to it to put him into the Marvel universe right now. But
Yeah, that whole thing's fucked. But yeah, so it looks good. I think hopefully it's just again, like I hope it's not like a short bullshit, money grab of a game. I hope it's got some substance to it.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting that I would actually be intrigued by it at all. I was thinking, oh great, Spider-Man game, what are they making it after the movie that's coming out? But it seems like most companies have kind of stepped away from making games based strictly off of movies because they realize that people really hate them.
I haven't seen one in like, now that you mentioned, I haven't seen like a movie game since like Wolverine Origins. Like,
yeah,
that was
it's
the last
been a
like
long time.
I think like they just like, I think it's like that whole like the time cycle for like making the game and the movie. Like the game is taking like probably a lot longer than the movie, so they have to get all the shit like way ahead of the movie schedule, and they're mostly just a piece of shit. Like they're really.
There was
again, I think Spider-Man 2 is like the only good movie game I think I've ever played, except for like
there was one that
Batman
I played
for the original Game Boy or something like that. Like
God, I want to say it was like a Fantastic Four game or some shit like that. I don't remember. It was some superhero
really
game
good,
that I
since
played.
You can't fucking remember it.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was on like PS2. It was a long time ago.
so
Yeah.
what did you
Spider-Man.
guys think of Sea of Thieves?
Fuck it. I don't give a shit.
Really?
What's Sea of Thieves?
I could not give less of a fuck about that. That doesn't do anything for me.
No. It's
No,
a
seriously, what is it? Uncharted?
My penis was flaccid.
I have no idea.
It's a cooperative pirate game where you get a ship, you sail the ocean, and there's other people who sail their ships, and you can jump into the water, and you can go down and try to find treasure, and you can battle against other players.
He plays a Titan?
No.
He plays a hunter?
Okay.
He
Dave,
plays a warlock?
what's another game you're
I don't
excited
give a
for?
fuck.
Another game that I'm excited for. God, how many have we gone through here? Okay, so I'm going to get this out of the way. I'm going to get shit for it. I'm excited for some of the VR games that they announced.
Oh, Fuck
Yeah,
off.
I know.
If you say
No.
Final Fantasy fishing, I'm going to drive to your house and stab you in the face.
As I was watching that, I
On
was
that
like,
note,
what the
hey,
fuck?
we can't finish this game, but we're gonna make a VR fishing because
Yeah,
that's the most important
what
fucking
the
thing about
fuck?
it.
That
Fuck
was
you, Square Enix.
bullshit. Absolute
That's exactly
bullshit.
what I was thinking.
I'm like,
as I watched at first.
is this them announcing the
Yeah.
game being done? I'm like, oh my god, I can finally finish. I can download it and I'm good. No, it's a fucking fishing
Well,
game.
I saw as they were showing it and it said on VR. I was like, are they making Final Fantasy 15 VR? How's that gonna work? And then I was like, oh, it's just fishing? Are you fucking serious? Who is
Yeah.
going to play this? This is the
There are
stupidest thing
people
ever.
who
I
are
know.
gonna play
I
it.
know who's gonna buy. I know who's gonna play it. We all
I
know
know
somebody
one
who's gonna
person
play
that will.
it. She's
Yes,
gonna love
Razor.
it. What?
Razor?
No, Razor's roommate.
She probably, maybe.
She's
I don't
going to
know.
play
I don't
the
know if
shit
she
out
has
of
a
that.
PSVR.
Because it's
She'll get a
Noctis,
PSVR for
near
that.
water.
Oh.
It's all the ladies are gonna buy it. All the ladies are gonna buy it. And it's
Okay, but the things that I'm actually excited for. Okay, so Skyrim, I've played the shit out of it. I've played it
Dude,
so many times.
I love
But-
Skyrim, but I am sick of that game. Like,
Oh,
Go
that
ahead.
I
game
know,
can
I
just
agree.
fuck off and die. I'm done.
But the first time I
Motherfuckers.
ever did anything in VR, when I had like one of the headsets that you put your phone in, the Gear VR for this. The first thing that I thought was, man, you know what would be cool to play in this? Skyrim. It's just something that as I've been playing it, I've always thought it would be cool to play this in VR. So I will
isn't that
probably
game
pick it up.
like isn't it like 7 years old now?
it's like 6. It's
Almost.
going to be
Yeah,
7.
it's
soon.
almost 6.
So you're gonna spend another $60 to buy a game you've already
40.
bought twice, at
Like,
least.
I'm just like, I want Elder Scrolls 6. Stop remaking
Yeah.
this fucking game for like every
I feel
system.
the same
like,
way.
There was a meme that was like, now for iOS, Skyrim. Now for the microwave, Skyrim. Now for the rock, Skyrim. It's just like, like what else can they
No,
release?
it is-
It's just like, let the
It is
game just
ridiculous.
fucking die. Like, it's a great game. It should go down in history as one of the best RPGs of all time. But like, stop. Just make something new for fuck's sake. Like,
So I'm gonna get the VR shit all out of the way, so that we can all
yeah,
just bitch
you
about
better.
it. But
'cause I'm
Skyrim
gonna
does
have
look
an
cool.
aneurysm.
Fallout 4, I never beat Fallout 4.
I didn't either.
I played
still
it a
own
decent
I think.
amount, but I will probably at some point. It's not like a rush out and buy it as soon as it releases, but yeah, it'd be cool to play it in VR. If I have the
I
option-
think that would be okay. Just because that's just
I'm glad I have.
that
your-
would be a world that'd be kind of cool to like just walk around and like fuck off in. Like there's some
It
like
would.
especially some of the creepier places where like a death claw is gonna pop out. I think there's some
Nope.
good like poop in your pants moments. Especially the fucking the radioactive sea place that's just like a fucking nuclear wasteland. I think that will look cool in VR.
Yeah,
You
and you
get
can be
fight
told that
giant
your
scorpions.
you can be told that your camps are under attack in VR.
And you can just see really shitty faces.
I hate
look
Slim
at you,
Jim
like,
packets that I can't open. Fuck. Fuck.
So the final thing in VR
fucking
that I'm excited about.
childproof?
Yes, they are.
I'm excited about this more than I am Skyrim or Fallout 4, and that's Moss.
Moss looked
Did either
great.
of you see Moss?
Moss looked very
That
cool.
looks awesome. Like, I can't tell from the trailer if you are actually controlling the mouse or if you are helping the mouse go along or if it's kind of like a mixture of
looking at
both.
it right now.
I didn't understand
But-
why it was VR. Like that was the one thing. Like
I
it
don't-
didn't
it
look like a
looks-
VR game. It looked like a platformer.
I agree. But I don't know. I was watching it, it was like, oh man, that looks kind of fun.
Yeah, it
You're
did.
playing like some badass mouse with a sword and just, I don't know.
The
Puzzle
inpatient
solving.
looks-
I like puzzle
cute as
solving.
hell.
It's been a
Yeah.
while since I have played a game
Like his
that's
little
like a
leaf
puzzle
gauntlet.
solver. Yeah.
Yeah, the other
Exactly.
game, it wasn't a VR game, but the other game that like just made me think of like a cute little guy to play was a Super Lucky's Tale or Super Lucky Tale. I believe it was during the Microsoft press conference.
Oh, that looks cool.
It was
And
just
it looks like you don't control him, like you're controlling the environment around him and like kind of guiding him.
Which
Like-
is kind of cool.
That seems interesting.
yeah,
Yeah,
Super
so I'm
Lucky's
more
Tale
excited for that.
was
Super
another.
Lucky's Tale. Okay,
that was another
I didn't
cute-
see that.
That
So
was it's not VR. It's a Xbox exclusive. it looked a little
those
childish. Like, it does look a little bit childish, but it reminded me a lot of, like, Spyro. It's like they took Tails from Sonic, and they gave him his own game in Spyro. And, yeah.
Now I want to play Spyro.
There was an Xbox game that I really liked. It was the Cuphead.
Yep.
That was like the 1930s animation style. That looked fucking amazing. And I'm really mad that it's only on Xbox. This looks like...
It'll be Windows 10, too. You could probably get it if you want to go to Windows 10.
I'll get it, because that just looks like a fun... the animation style or the visuals just look... It looks incredible.
That's my question to you guys. So when you look at this list, really quickly, let's step off of the games really quick and look at the actual companies. When you look at the list and see how many games each company released and the quality of the different games, like, out of Microsoft, Nintendo, or Sony, who would you say won out E3 this year overall?
Now, are you talking just exclusives, or are you talking...
Yeah, because Xbox really didn't have exclusives. A lot, like, most of their games were third party. They just...
Yeah, most of
their
their
for Microsoft.
Most of their exclusives were indie titles that are already on PC that they threw money at the developer to say, no, don't put this on Sony's console. Like Player Unknown, Black Desert, Minecraft, which Microsoft owns now, but and The Artful Escape, Code Vein, Lucky's Tale, Cuphead, Ashen. Like, all of those are games that aren't actually like big time Microsoft titles. Just Microsoft paid indie developers to not release them on Sony's platform. And so when you take away all of that stuff, who here in the list do you actually think would win? Like, legitimately, if you had to pick a company, like, did Microsoft sell you on the Xbox One X? No, because if they didn't, then they lost their conference.
Yeah. I think Nintendo for me.
Yep.
Nobody really, like, blew me away. Like, there's very few games that, like, got me really excited. It wasn't so much a system, but, like, Nintendo, like, really started to show that they have some really good things lined up for the Switch and the future of that console. I think just out of what they've shown versus Microsoft and Sony, I'd say majority of the things on there looked really good or I was interested in, whereas the other ones, like, most of it I could not give less of a shit about. And a lot of, like, the big games were, like, are like third party. So, like, Destiny 2 is like a third party game. Dragon Ball, that's a third party game. Spider-Man's, I think, the PlayStation exclusive because it's owned by Sony. So that's, like, pretty much the only exclusive. Everything else is, I think, third party.
Horizon Zero Dawn's expansion.
Right.
But in Shadow of the Colossus, I believe.
God of War.
Yeah. So probably Sony
and Monster Hunter.
But just kind of by happenstance. Like, it wasn't like anything that made me like just like, oh, thank God I have a fucking PlayStation, because, like, that's coming out. It was just kind of like, all right, well, Xbox still just looks like a piece of shit, so probably won't get that.
I felt the same way. I had the thank God I have a Switch moment. Like, that I had that moment after watching it. I'm
definitely going to pick one up. I don't know if they announced this at E3, but they did confirm they are making a Pokemon game for the Switch that's like its own thing, which is
it's a core.
Sounds awesome.
A core Switch title.
I think it's like 20. It was like a ways off.
They
like
said that don't expect it within the next year, but they are working on it.
Yeah. So that's it. But I mean, I think I'm definitely going to get a Switch at some point, because I think at least by the end of the year, there's going to be enough on that system to, you'll have it like really good. Like, the titles are coming out seem really solid. Like Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
I'm so excited for that game.
Like Pokken Tournament looks great. Even like the Fire Emblem, I'm kind of interested in. And they've been like killing it with like stuff like Disgaea 5, like kind of like older games that actually work. Like when you think about it, like on a handheld system, they work really well. So I think if they keep getting third-party games like that on there that play to that system's strengths, I think it's going to be really good.
I think Rocket League is going to be a big one for the Switch. I think that's going to be
mobile
huge.
Rocket League was probably going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree that Nintendo probably, just in terms of the exclusives that they have, I would say I, of course, am more of a fan of Sony. So I'm more looking forward to their stuff. But Nintendo, just the exclusives that they listed, I would say they win. Although I was just reading something interesting that apparently Sony purposely left out showing a lot of their new AAA exclusives because they're going to show them later on this year.
Whatever.
So that's interesting. I think it's a mistake personally, but
what's the next big conference? There's another one in 2 months.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
There's another big one. It's the big PAX. Isn't that in a couple months?
Oh yeah. Is it PAX East?
I don't think it's East.
PAX
East happens in
Is it West?
That's February, I think, or March. It's
PAX
It's got to be
West?
PAX West.
Yeah.
Because I know there's one at the beginning of the year and one in the end of the year. Because there's a fall and spring PAX.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
Sony
East
does
is
their own
spring.
press conference too each year, so maybe they're waiting for that. But I thought that happened earlier in the year as well.
So, kind of on this note, I want to talk to you guys. So, when they were talking about Destiny 2, they revealed the PlayStation exclusives. So, like, it's some armor, you get like a exotic your own ship. They have confirmed that PC and Xbox are going to get those exclusives in like early 2018. So, like 4 to 6 months after the initial release, sometime by then they're going to have it. And people are really bitching about it. And I don't know if it's because I'm biased because I'm going to probably play it on PlayStation first and probably exclusively. I don't have a problem with exclusives for one system. A lot of like big YouTubers say it's really bad for the consumer.
Yep. I agree. I'm on that side.
I don't know.
It's not bad from a like game standpoint.
I think it's a corporate business decision. If you can, it's all about making someone want to play and buy your system and play on it.
It's not that
I think that.
And it's not like it's game-breaking shit. Like right now in Destiny, we have like the Jade Rabbit, the Zen Meteor, and like one Strike.
Yeah. Which
honestly,
the
Jade Rabbits. They're both good guns, but they're not game-breaking. Like people don't always run these in the meta. They're not like required. There's a lot of guns that are better, and people tend to use. They're just they're good, fun guns. And the Strike is. Like, it's a strike. It's not like the most amazing thing. You can't really get anything.
There's a PvP map as well in the new one. There's a PvP map for Destiny 2.
That's true.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, man. Like,
I think that it should be timed exclusives and not just complete.
That's what it is.
And that's what it is. But, see, I'm on the opposite side, because the reason I think that it's consumer anti-friendly is because you have somebody sitting on Xbox and you have somebody sitting on Sony. They both spent $60 for a game, expecting the same game, and I don't think that it's fair to anybody to pick a console and be punished and buy the same game, same price, same everything, and not get the same...
Yeah, but it's not But it's a third-party game, so it's up to them to I feel it's up to them to decide if they want to favor one console more than the other, because that's...
Right.
It's not made by Sony. It's not made by Microsoft. So,
but because it's a third-party game, shouldn't it be the same?
You're not really. I don't think you're really being punished. You're just not getting. If you look at the entirety of the game, this is like a fraction of percentage of what's in the game that you're not going to get.
It wasn't for Destiny 1. Remember that. Right. It wasn't for Destiny 1.
Right. And they've kind of changed that. So now it's a timed exclusive. So they are going to get at some point.
I know PC is going to get it in 2018, but I don't know when in 2018. Yeah. I feel like they should shorten
probably when PC
the timer
comes
at
out.
the very least.
I don't think it's
October
like
24th.
I don't think it's a good business practice, but at the same time, like you made your decision. Like, you wanted to get an Xbox. Like, this is what sorry if a third party says, we're going to favor PlayStation because they gave us more money essentially to make this fucking game. So we're going to give them something but more.
I do get that it kind of sucks.
It's not but you can get a PlayStation. Like, if you really like Xbox, then guess what? For this one game, you're not going to get like these 5 fucking things. Is that going to ruin the whole game for you? Then if so, don't play the fucking game. Like, or buy a PlayStation. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's not this is corporate. They're out to make money.
Yeah,
I think,
but it's the out to make money, go buy a PlayStation is why it's anti-consumer. That's why it's anti-consumer. It's not anti-business or anti-practice. It's the consumer has to go buy something that they didn't intend to buy to get the full experience of a game that they technically bought.
The thing that sucks,
full experience,
really, in my opinion, is just the fact that there are people that are playing it on Xbox not because they want to, but because that's where literally all of their friends are. And they can't just make all of their friends go out and buy a PS4 and play it on PS4 if that's what they want to do. I mean, they could play 2 different copies of it, but who wants to do that?
I do.
I know people that do. You want to get it on PC as well.
I don't think it's as big a deal as it's made out to be. Like I don't think it's a good practice, but it is what it is.
Right. I would agree with that. It's not a great
I don't
practice,
think it's something to just like fucking like blow your top off about. It's just kind of like, well, that's kind of shitty, but you know what? I, as a PlayStation person, lived up with it for years with Call of Duty, so like I don't tell you, like I didn't fucking not play the game. I just waited till it came out. And it was kind of shitty, but it is what I still like the game. It's not like not having that map for a while didn't ruin the whole experience for me. I just didn't play what the Xbox players were playing, but I wasn't playing with them. So I don't know. Like I think it should definitely go away, but I don't know. I'd rather have the full game made because Sony shelled out a little more money to Bungie than not have it, or just have it not on one system at all.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. So now that we've talked about kind of the business practice of it, what did you guys actually think of the exclusives?
I think they look great. The armor looked good. The ship looks the fucking tits. Sniper rifle seemed really interesting.
I like the fact that you can change elements on it. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what the other perks are on it, of course. That'll be interesting to see.
I'm guessing probably nothing stellar. I think that's going to be its main.
No, it'll just be like,
thing
you can use this no matter what.
It's probably going to have like some generic. It's probably going to be some generic perks that aren't great. I think its main thing is just going to be able to change elements on the fly.
Mm-hmm. Then of course, we get a strike. PvP map. Hopefully the strike is actually decent.
Yes.
Yeah, the last one wasn't.
Because what did we got Scion Flayers as an exclusive at some point.
Yeah, I think so.
And I was like, I don't care. Yeah, I don't like it that much.
So, moving on to, I guess let's talk about the Xbox One X. Their big, official, fantastic reveal of the system and all of its specs and everything. So, legitimately, it will be the most powerful console ever made. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is it everything that I think they think it's going to be because of that? Probably not.
No.
I
mean, they're bottlenecking themselves, and I don't understand why. Why are you in?
I was disappointed because they was just like 4K, 4K, 4K. It's like, I don't give a fuck about 4K. Give me 1080 at 60 FPS and then bump it up. Like, I want the best just gameplay experience. Like, I don't have a 4K monitor. I don't have a 4K TV. Like, most people don't. Most people who like seriously play games play on a monitor because the TV has too much lag. And a 4K monitor is a fuck shit of money. And it's not even true 4K. Like, it's just driving me crazy that both PlayStation and Xbox have done this thing where they think we care about the resolution scale, where it's like we just want the game to run as the best as possible. Like the graphics are good enough now that like I don't think people are just like, oh, this 1080p shit just looks like ass. Like it still looks amazing. I would just rather have it at 60 FPS than worrying about blowing up to like a pseudo 4K resolution.
Right. I think the big mistake that they made with the Xbox One X, other than the really lame name, is the fact that they're leaving the other two consoles in the same market as their new version. I think that if they had launched the Xbox One X as a new dedicated system with a new library of games coming to it, that you could, like, that got its own shit. It was the new console, and they erased the old two and moved on, then I think that the system would be doing really well. But the fact that game developers now have to develop a low-end spec, a mid-tier spec, and a 4K spec for the same console generation is mind-boggling. And why they would do that is beyond me. Like, Sony did it, they split it twice. But, like, it's not that big of a deal. They did it to 3 now, and that's just nuts.
I think that all that's going to happen really there is that the exclusives for the Xbox One are going to develop games specifically with the Xbox One X in mind, with that performance, 4K, whatever they can get out of the system. But the third-party games, I don't think that they're going to do that, because they're going to want to make
too much
them
resources to
do
PC, Xbox, PlayStation 4, then doing the upscaling for the PlayStation 4 Pro, and then doing 2 different fucking things for the Xbox again. Like, it's just going to be ridiculous. The name is so stupid. I can't believe they did that. I mean, at least PlayStation, like, you have the PlayStation, then you have the Pro. You know, your fucking 80-year-old grandma could figure out the difference between those two. Now you have what? The Xbox One, Xbox One S, and the Xbox One X.
You know,
like, you know everybody's done the joke, like, someone's gonna get the wrong Xbox this Christmas, boy. Like,
do you know?
It's just confusing.
Why they did it? It's mirroring the phone market. It's a market where you consistently upgrade your models, and when you release a new phone model, you release 2 or 3 iterations of the same phone, and you always have the Galaxy S, and the Galaxy whatever the fuck comes after the S. They did the same thing. You have the Xbox, the Xbox One S, and the Xbox One X.
That's true, but their naming convention actually works, because it's like S number, S, and then S number no, or whatever. Like, it's very clear. This is very confusing.
They still fucked it up.
Another thing, the price point is
way too high.
Yeah, the price point is dumb. It's funny, like we talked about. This reminds me of Xbox 360 versus PS3, but like reversed. So what hurt the PlayStation 3 a lot was like the price point. Like, it was really fucking expensive. So for like $200 less, you get an Xbox 360. So what are you going to pick? And now, like, you know, it's only $100 difference, but if you're looking at $400 versus $500, like that extra $100, that's like a game, that's some accessories, that's a little extra money in your bank. You know, I think if anything, unless this thing just fucking performs like a just angel baby, which I don't think it will.
With the processor, it really can't.
Yeah.
What is it, like a 2.3 gigahertz, 8-core? I didn't look into the threading or anything, but
they put like they put like a fucking good amount of memory in these things. So like, all right, the graphics card they use, like for a gaming console, you don't really need like a PC level graphics card. You need, you know, something with some oomph, but like it's optimized differently, so you don't need like like a fucking 12-inch dick running your system. You know, you can just use just a little bit of average. You know, it gets the job done. But it's like the process, they're just like, oh, well, let's just use a Snapdragon, you know, from a phone. Like, what are you doing? Like, and that's what killed like the PlayStation 4 Pro was like, that's why Destiny 2 can't do 60 FPS, because like the fucking CPU bottlenecks. It's like, as far as I've heard, I mean, I haven't looked too much into it, but from what I've heard from people who looked at technical specs, it's like it's not the GPU, it's not the memory, it's the CPU bottlenecks the fuck out of itself. And it just, they say, oh, this is the most powerful gaming system, but yeah, it's going to do the same shit.
Right. And does it concern you guys, coming from Microsoft of all people, and the history of spinning or touching your system and having the disk get literally shredded, or the red ring, that Microsoft decided to put a liquid cooling unit inside of their console?
Dude, I remember my first Xbox 360. Like, I had it in the vertical position, right? Mm-hmm. And this was like when, they said, well, you need a special stand. I was like, oh, go fuck yourself. I'm just going to stand this up. I remember ever so slightly that thing just went, and it fucking scratched the fuck out of Dragon Age. Just like shredded it just because it just moved slightly. I mean, it's just... It
concerns me that they would put liquid cooling inside of their system.
Yeah, because that can go horribly wrong. It's liquid cooling's good, but so here's the thing. Most people use liquid cooling for PCs servers that they're overclocking the fuck out of,
or servers, or
Right. It's really reserved for things that you're pushing the fuck out of it. Other than that, generally, just regular fan heatsink cooling can do the job perfectly fine if you're smart and design it right. I think the cooling is going to be more expensive, so that doesn't help the price, and it's going to be a bitch to fix. Because guess what? If that fucker breaks, it's going to spooge all inside of that system, and generally liquid and electronics don't mesh well. So yeah, have fun with that. I mean, because Xbox is just known for its high quality systems that never break down and never need repair. So yeah, I don't foresee any issues with a spooge filled water cannon inside this system.
Instead of wrapping it with a towel, you'll be sliding a towel into the disc tray so you can soak it up.
I'm waiting for all the YouTube videos of people playing, and all of a sudden just squirts water out of the vents because the fucking pump blew out. Or just starts peeing itself because there's a leak in it.
Like the waterfall scene.
It's gonna happen the first time.
It'll be the waterfall scene from the PlayStation
press
conference.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first generation of consoles are always garbage. They have to work out the kinks. They always fucking break. And
I don't know what you're talking about. No Switch has ever curved.
Yeah, or basically melted or just died.
The Joy-Con just not work.
Yeah.
So
things like this don't happen. So
neither of you are gonna get it?
I was super disappointed. I need some sort of amazing reason to buy this thing. Because we talked about before, I was a little excited for it.
Yeah.
From when they released this thing's gonna have a fucking 8-inch dick that's just gonna become your dick. And it's whoa, that sounds pretty good. Then you turn out it's actually 18 centimeters. Wait a minute, you lied to me. That's
a bigger number though. It's a bigger number.
Yeah. But it seems like it's got some, it's got some power. I don't want to not acknowledge that. It's definitely it's the most powerful game system we have out now. It doesn't do much. I don't give a fuck about 4K. Again, I want performance. I don't think we're not going to see a lot of games I don't think we're going to see many titles that utilize the system.
Well, there aren't that many titles.
Right. I mean, there's probably going to be maybe someday Microsoft exclusive that really are, designed with this system in mind to, use this full potential. There's PlayStation exclusives that do that for that system that just have like Horizon Zero Dawn, just have amazing graphics, run amazing, know how to use the PlayStation 4 and optimize it really well. And I'm sure we're going to see stuff for I can't even say the fucking thing. The Xbox One X, might be someday, but I'm not seeing anything from Microsoft that really interests me. The company is just a bag of dicks. They're not trustworthy. Basically, them and Ubisoft are just like gang banging people in the back alley. Like, I do not trust these people. Don't shake their hand. Pretty much, and most of the time, anything that you can play on Xbox is going to be on PC. So I'd recommend, like, if you're thinking about getting Xbox One X, take that $500, save a little bit more, and for like $600 to $700, you're going to get a PC that's like mid-tier that can blow that fucking thing out of the water. Like, if there's no Xbox exclusive games that you can't get on PC, fuck that thing. Just get a Windows machine, build it yourself. It's gonna blow that out of the water. It's gonna be more reliable. You're gonna get more life out of it because guess what? You can replace shit and upgrade it. And yeah, so I'm probably not gonna get one now.
But you want to know a fun fact?
Maybe.
The acronym for Xbox One X is Xbox.
Triple X.
No, it's Xbox.
I don't like it.
It's XBOX. It's literally Xbox. The acronym for Xbox One X is Xbox.
Gayest shit I've heard all day. I've heard some gay shit today, let me tell you.
Isn't that great?
No.
They built the name of their system into the acronym for their system.
Yeah, that's really clever.
Just wonderful.
So that means the
Good for
Xbox
them.
S is Xbox,
Xbox.
and then the right one is Expo.
So did you guys?
I played on my.
Did you guys
Xbox.
watch the Microsoft press conference?
No.
It was early on.
I tried to watch some of it, and I was just like, no, thank you.
It was really on in the press conference, and I'm sitting there, and one of the guys is talking, and I think it was during the Forza. It was one of the guys during the Forza. They brought the Porsche out and everything. The guy he literally says on stage in front of everybody, he says the Xbox One S.
Yeah, I saw that.
He fucked it up on stage, and I laughed so hard. It was the greatest thing in the world to see the guy talking about the game and go, the Xbox One X. Like, I could not stop laughing.
Oh, that was good.
I was like, that guy's going to get fired as soon as he gets behind that curtain. Like, he's done.
He might as well should have just dropped trowel right there and just like, all right, well, I'm going out.
Yep. See you guys later.
So I was shocked at the quality of Ubisoft's presentation.
Yeah.
It was a lot higher than the quality of their games.
Yeah, no shit. Like, I don't fucking trust them, but like, they did it right. Like, that's how you should present at E3. Maybe you shouldn't be a giant company of ass rapers, but you know, good on you for, you know, it was probably one of the better shows out of that whole thing. Like,
I thought Sony's was good too. Besides for the guy who kept talking about the games, their little guy, he looked like a Daredevil villain. Like, he looked like the next guy to try out for playing a Daredevil villain. He was like, he had the little mustache, he had the little thing in his little vest, like the little flower. Like, he literally looked like a villain.
Did you notice the size of that fucking theater, wherever the fuck they were in? That place was huge.
It was.
My God.
The whole building
just
was
like, they basically
loaded.
said like, hey, Microsoft, look at the size of this shit.
Microsoft had a cooler stage, though. I have to give them that. Their stage was way cooler. Because they had like the multiple different screens, and like it was the Lucky's Tale game when they demoed it. They actually showed him running across all of the different screens. So like it wasn't just a one screen display. It was they were utilizing all of the screens, which was really cool to see on the giant ass screens.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that Ubisoft did a great job. EA still fucked up like they do every year. I didn't like the Microsoft's one thing that really rubbed me the wrong way, other than Phil Spencer. I don't like his personality. It feels very generated to me. Yeah, it feels very fake.
All right, so like on that, like, did you read anything about how like he went on the record saying like, "Oh, we'd love to do cross-platform with PlayStation."
Yeah, he's a
games,
fucking liar.
and basically threw it in like Sony, like making Sony out to be, and I'm not trying to defend Sony, but he basically was setting it up to saying like, oh, we'd love to do that, and we're doing cross-platform with like PC and the Switch with no issues. Just Sony, you know, they just don't want to play nice, you know, kind of put them in a corner. And you know, Sony went out with like the very PR thing of like, well, we can't control what Xbox and Nintendo and PC players are doing. You know, we want to keep everything in our own environment. And he basically just, and at the end he said the truth. It was like, yeah, shareholders don't want to do it. So there you go. Like the people in the fucking company say no. Like I mean, it's not a technology thing. It's not that we can't do it. It's just that the people who have stake in the company say, fuck Microsoft. We don't want to play with them. And that might change because this seemed to cause a lot of backlash. So it might,
I would
put more pressure on them to do that. But at the same time, it's just like, again, this is one of the things where like I don't really give a fuck about. Like when I play on PlayStation, there's generally whatever game I'm playing, there's enough PlayStation people on there that I'm not like, oh man, I wish I had some Xbox players to play with.
Well, that's why Phil Spencer wants like the business side of it. The reason why the losing team, because Xbox 360 was the opposite. They didn't want anything to do with Sony because their system was the best. Fuck you, I sound like a robot. And so this time around, Sony has like 40 times the amount of consoles on the market.
Right. So was it last week or the week before we had like the fucking chart where they're just like like they grew like fucking like 30% a year, which is nuts. Like it was somewhere between 20 and 30%. It's a very large number where, you know, they had like half or a third of what Xbox 360 had, and now they're like surpassed. Like as far as I know, I could be just talking on my ass, but like I think they've surpassed Xbox as far as like the active subscription player base.
Yep.
Like there's a lot of people on PlayStation right now, and for good reason.
It's the place to be. I mean, I love my PlayStation. Like it's fantastic. The system treats me well.
Like since the old gray bastard, like I've always liked PlayStation. And it's not like I hate. Well, I kind of do hate Xbox. I hate the fact that it's built like a piece of shit. Like the Xbox 360, probably my least favorite gaming console of all time. As far as like social, like playing with people, it was the probably the best because it just made it so easy. They gave you like a little shitty headset in your thing, so you could hop on, start playing with your friends. The interface was really user friendly, and that was great. But the systems itself were just fucking garbage, and I can't stand it. I like most Xbox 360 players I do bought like 2 to 3 in that game's like, and that's retarded. And not like upgraded versions, like the same fucking system because it just shit itself.
It's like,
and they would just say like, oh, then they had no issue with it. But, oh, I just got the new, you know, fucking spanky danky version, so it looks cool now. Where like I still have my PlayStation 3, and it's not the original Fat Boy, but it's not like the super slim one. It's the in between model.
Yeah.
It's like I've had no issues with any of my PlayStations of any generation. I don't think Sony's the best company. I haven't agreed with all their business practices and decisions, but
no, of course not.
Overall, they're pretty consistent, and like going from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4, like it's very evident they learn from that and like their mistakes, and that's why the PS4 is like the gaming console that said like, all right, fuck the multimedia shit. We just need to make a good gaming system and get good games on this and like support it well, and like they've done that.
Right. The way
and that's why it's doing well.
The way I've always looked at it since Xbox was Sony and Nintendo build game consoles. Microsoft builds cheap PCs. Like that's the way I've always looked at it. They have a plastic box and they cram a bunch of PC shit inside of it and they sell it as a console. And Sony and Nintendo they put out a console. It is a dedicated device for whatever they're looking to do. And Microsoft continues to miss the mark on that. And the Xbox One X is like a clear point of that is like, yeah, we built this high-powered console with liquid cooling. It's like, No, you built a tiny little PC and put a water bottle inside of it. Like, I mean,
Oh, speaking of, here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the new cooling system for the Xbox One X,
Yeah.
XBX 5000. Here we go.
only it's gonna be green water.
Yeah. And like you mentioned that, like it makes sense. Like Nintendo's been making a game system since the
Here you
fucking
go.
80s. That looks
In
disgusting.
water.
So I mean, Nintendo's been doing it for like getting close to 40 years now. Like they know what the fuck they're doing. Sony has been doing it since the 90s, but like the PlayStation 1 crushed everything else at the time. Like there was a very wide range. There's like Neo Geo, Jaguar, N64, all this shit, and it just fucking annihilated it. It was like the top of the line system. Same thing with PS2. Like the Dreamcast kind of beat the first PlayStation because it was like this in between thing. PS2 came out, fucking goodbye, fuck you, everybody. Like,
Well, I was actually
that
just
was like the
looking
top
up
system.
console sales, and PS2, according to every list I can find, is still the top-selling system
Yep.
of all time.
it's a number one seller.
155 million. And from what I saw, it's a
beast,
recent
man.
list too. But like PS4, it was 60 million, and
That's a lot for
Xbox
fucking like
Xbox One is
3 or 4 year
10.
old.
Xbox
Ooh.
One is 10 million from what I saw,
Yeah.
and this is a list from like 2 weeks ago.
That's
And
pathetic.
that's every list that I found. Xbox One is around 10 million, and PS4 is around.
So that
60.
means a lot of 360 people jumped to PS4.
Yeah, it
Either
was.
because like
Yeah.
didn't
it
it
was a
come
better
out first?
system when it came out.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
I think
it
they
did.
were
It did come out first.
They were close. Like I don't think it was. Maybe
It was
I'm
a
wrong.
few months, honestly. I
It
think
doesn't- But you think about that. So like, if you're like a diehard Xbox person and like PlayStation comes out, most of your friends are still on Xbox. So most likely you're just get. Well, I'm just gonna wait because I would do the same thing. If the Xbox One came out before PS4 and I was on PS3, I would just say I'm just gonna wait for the PS4. Like I'm not gonna just jump. So that just seems like a large number of people jump ship.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, whenever you
That's
hear anything
fucking-
about the Xbox, though, like everybody's always like, I would love a reason to turn it on. Like I was listening to the Co-optional podcast from last week, and it had Total Biscuit, Laura Dale K Dale, and Jim Sterling and Miracle of
Kellogg's.
Sound, and
Cornflakes.
and they all said like at the same time, I would love a reason to turn on my Xbox. I haven't turned it on in 2 years. Like when you
Okay.
when you hear somebody say I haven't turned
Gaming people. Right?
yeah, the longest my
These are people who
PlayStation's
game
ever
for a
gone.
living. Who probably have more reason than anybody else to just play
Anything.
whatever. Like because it's basically that's how they make money. For 2 years, that's kind
Yeah.
of scary.
And I really don't foresee the Xbox One X changing anything about that.
Because
Even if they double
not
the
just the
Xbox
system,
One
it's the-
sales.
it's the fucking games. Like it's
Yeah.
the experience on it.
It's lacking. There's not a lot of great games on it.
Very much. And so that might make sense of why. Just bring this back. I don't want to like beat a dead horse with a baseball bat, but like this might be why Bungie's giving PlayStation the exclusives, because it literally is 6 times the fucking potential player base. So
That does
you're
make
going
a
to
lot
sell
of
more
sense.
games on that console. So maybe you want to make the money.
Yeah.
Again, not saying that's ethical or the right thing to do, but if you look at it that way, if you're selling something to 2 systems, one has sold 60 million, one has sold 10, and and they both want exclusives, who are you going to go to?
Right.
Who has potentially more money to have you sell more of your games, to keep your company alive, to continue to make these like good games and content for it? Like obviously you're going to go with the bigger player base.
Right. I mean,
But I
when
didn't realize it was that much more.
yeah,
That's
I
fucking
didn't
10
either.
million
It's
seems
crazy.
super low. Like that seems really low.
Like,
I
I think,
Yeah,
like, the Switch has
that's
sold
what
more
all
than
the
that.
lists that I'm seeing say.
mean, when you think about the fact that the Switch just came out and Nintendo boosted
gonna
the
say-
production because they're expecting to go sell over 10 million within the first year, like that seems like super low for a console that's been out for 4 years, 3.5 years. Like, that's super low. But I mean, I guess if your system's doing that bad, it explains why the Xbox One got a price cut to $250. So it's going to be the cheapest console on the market as well. It's now cheaper than the Switch and the PS4. And it explains why they released such a higher tier price point, because they need to start making up money on the newer system for the loss that they potentially incurred on the younger system, the original system.
So I found the one I have is
Yeah.
the PS4 at 60 and the Xbox at 26, which
That sounds a little bit more like it.
but still it's like half.
Yeah, that's
all
still
the
not
ones-
good.
yeah,
It's
That's
still
a
not
lot.
good.
That's still quite a big jump. If you think about
Yeah.
that, so the PlayStation is what sold how many more millions of dollars worth of shit than Xbox?
Lots.
A lot.
Well, it was
Yeah.
Sony said that, like, the PlayStation portion of the company is like the main like income. Like, they're making the most money off of the PlayStation portion of
Yeah.
Sony right now. Like, think about their movies. Their movies don't do that well. The last big movie like that you could really think about that Sony put out was the one that like North Korea threatened to blow them up for. Like, with Seth
Dirty
Rogen.
Dancing?
No, it had Seth Rogen and
Oh, the yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then they had
That was
another
a funny
one.
movie.
They had another one that they got blackmailed for. Like, so Sony's had issues with their movies. Their TVs, as far as I know, don't sell as well anymore. All their
Spider-Man.
all of their stuff just doesn't sell that well anymore. And
Yeah, it's funny. And, like, I was thinking about, like, do you guys remember what was it? Jesus Christ. The Sony had like the best laptop for a while there.
Oh, the Vio?
yeah,
Yes. Like that was like basically like the Mac of the PC laptops. It was like it was pretty short lived. I think it was only like a 3 to 5 year period, but it was like the tits. Like
I have
it was
4
the
of them.
best. Good for you. It was like the best thing you could get.
they had the best TV too. They had the
Yeah.
Sony
Really good TV.
Bravia,
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And like musical stuff like CD players,
Walkman.
MP3 players.
You
Walkman.
knew that it was going to be high quality. That's
Yeah.
the
Boom
thing. Like,
boxes,
even just
my
headphones. everything. Oh my god.
But yeah,
But I
seems
wanted
they
to touch.
were like they used to make records too.
Yep. Cameras.
They did.
You guys know what records
They had their
are?
own they had their own studio and stuff for records and
Yeah,
stuff
Sony
like
has
that.
their whole own music and their whole music
Yeah, they-
studio and record label.
Yeah.
And,
But I mean,
I'm
I
not
like
surprised
the fact
that gaming is there.
PlayStation's make. Yeah, I mean, the gaming industry is like makes more money than movies.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not
Yeah.
surprising where
Oh, yeah.
that's like being the most successful when comparatively you have a lot less competition. Like Sony's only competition is essentially Microsoft because it's not only console but like PC gaming. So
Mhm.
so basically, like, I
Nintendo.
would consider that's true. But I mean, even Nintendo. I mean, they're like Nintendo is kind of its like own thing. Like they don't really because like Xbox and PlayStation are basically
they
in my
compete.
mind they're like third-party competitors. Like they want the third-party games. They like now they barely do anything for exclusives. Like it's kind of rare for like an exclusive. Like where back in PS2 and PS3, like those days, like you would see exclusives for Xbox and Xbox 360. Like that was like a much more common thing. Whereas now, I don't know if it's the cost or you need to sell so many games, so you have to kind of make it third party and cross platform to hit the sales. So they really seem like their main market's third party stuff. Where Nintendo was still very like their own thing. They do like their own games. They have
Which,
like their
it
own
works really well for them.
dictatorship for what they want in their games, and like who can
It works really
make
well.
YouTube videos on it and shit. It does. I mean, they don't like I don't think they need any help, but
No.
so I wouldn't say Nintendo's like a direct competitor for them. Like that, I mean, it's basically
They're off to
Sony and Microsoft. Just like they're just ever since the first Xbox and PS2, like
Yep.
they've just been at it for trying to get the player base. It's essentially
wanted
like
to-
people basically have an Xbox or PlayStation and like a Nintendo system. Like it's not like they don't really fight. Where it's always that weird thing when somebody has both like the PlayStation Xbox is just like, oh, we fancy motherfucker. We just playing both sides. Generally, people take like a stand on what they want to play on.
Yeah, and I wanted to compare something that I just saw on here to you guys. So, the Xbox One and the PS4 both came out in the same year, 2013, and they have that much of a difference. PS4 is sold double. The PS3 and Xbox 360, the PS3 came out a whole year later, and they both sold around 84 million.
They
almost tied.
I'm surprised at that because I don't think
with Xbox having a 1 year lead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
but
like,
Sony
dying and having to
manufactured.
buy-
They manufacture their systems longer than Microsoft. So Microsoft discontinues at point of new system release. Sony continues, especially in Japan, to keep making PS3s.
right.
So
They just stopped making PS3s in Japan like recently. I think did we cover that last week? I remember.
I think it was a couple weeks ago.
That's smart.
Like
I mean, if it's fucking selling,
Don't get rid of it.
right?
Yeah.
Like, there's still PS3 games out there. I mean, that's like, you have people who are like not in the best, don't financially can't get the new system and afford the new games, but they can get like a PS3 now, and guess what? You have like a fucking like 5-year library of shit that you can get for like $5 to $20.
Yeah.
That's a really good selling point. And guess what? When that person can get a PS4, like if they went that route, guess what? They're probably going to get that system. Whereas an Xbox, it probably works that way too. But that's a weird business practice to just stop it right there.
Yeah, Microsoft always does
I think
it.
you would wait till you stop making money.
Yeah,
but
even
again, Microsoft does some weird things.
I think it has to do with the fact that like you can make the argument as well that like if your older system is cheaper and you don't have the games to support it, the new system, then people are going to continue to play the old one. Ergo, you're not going to get the install base on your new system that you're looking for. So I think Microsoft launched with a very spotty launch series of games within their first launch window. So
God, what did they even have?
By cutting, they didn't even have Halo until a year later.
King Kong.
By cutting their old system out of the picture, it allows them to free up manufacturing space for their new system, and it allows them to make sure that they can continue to funnel all of their dedication to the new system, especially when you go, whoopsies, no backwards compatibility. Like,
Yeah, fuckers.
So, you have
fuck,
that.
Fuck both of them for not doing that. I don't know. I think Sony it's like the more seasoned gaming company.
Right. You also
I
root
think
for
you
them because of how badly they got beat in the PS3 era. Like,
yeah, but it's like this like almost like a boxer story. Like it came out like PS1 like just fucking bam, like KO'd fucking everybody. PS2 just like world champion, fucking most systems sold ever. And then it's like, all right, here's the next one. It's gonna be it's
Apollo
gonna destroy
Creed gets killed by the Russian.
Right. Yeah, it's just Russian. Xbox just
really just PS3
fucking
didn't
knocks
have.
it out. And
It
you
just
go,
didn't have the games.
Like my system is done for. Like, can it come back? And then just like the comeback of the century, fucking PlayStation 4 just like, I'm back, bitch, and just like kidney punches Xbox and just doubles the fucking system sold.
Well, it
like
was what Mike Cerny when they announced the PS4, like because Microsoft and Sony were playing all these tug of war games where they had like this is how you trade games on PlayStation, and you had all of this like really fun jabbing between the two companies.
Right.
And it was what Michael Cerny
that.
when he was announcing all of the features, because he was like the co-architect of the PS4 when they like officially announced it after Microsoft. He like pretty much dropped the mic on them. Like, it was that much of a smackdown when the PS4 like officially got announced. Like, it was a bloodbath. Sony crushed them.
Right. And it's because they learned from again, it's fucked up. Like PlayStation 3, they tried to make a multimedia system that played games. So it was pricey as shit. Most people bought it at the time because it was a cheaper Blu-ray player than a Blu-ray player. And guess what? You had a PlayStation 3 in there as well. So that was a thing. And it just didn't have good support. And they they just said like, well, that was fucked. Let's not do that again. And they basically realized, all right, people who buy PlayStation just want the gaming system, so let's just make that. And that's what the PS4 was. And Xbox goes, hey, guess what? We're going to make a multimedia shitbox. Do you guys want that? And people are like, not so much.
I mean,
I don't give a fuck
even
that my new Xbox avatar looks like something out of the latest fucking Pixar movie. Like, is that really your selling point? Is you have this like new high definition fucking gay avatar? Guess what? PlayStation doesn't have it all. A fucking avatar. You don't need it. This isn't fucking Wii Meebies or whatever fucking Nintendo Wii had, where you had your own little like weird ass bobblehead motherfucker that you could bowl with and shit. Like, you know what? This isn't Nintendo. We don't want that fucking crap. Like, I just want to log in, shoot some shit, beat the fuck out of something, and go to bed.
Cool story. So, yeah. I wanna loop back around from our tangent that we're on, and I want to get back.
This is the Unwatchable podcast, after all. This is what we
I think
do.
This might have been one of the most watchable podcasts we've done in quite some time. So, only
for your robot voice.
I'd like to swing back and get back to the games, and I'd like to talk about Anthem a little bit. So, I know personally, after I watched the initial trailer, and I was like, it looks pretty good. After watching the gameplay this morning, though, the game actually looks like something I'm interested in. It's like they took all of the crap from Mass Effect that I didn't like and left what I liked about Mass Effect there, and just sprinkled a fresh new coat of paint on it, and they were like, well, that company did facial animations really bad, so when we do our reveal gameplay trailer, we're going to zoom in on this character, and we're going to show you that he can talk. And
it's like, oh, by the way, this is where the A-team, this is what they were working on.
Right.
Instead of Mass Effect.
It
became very clear. It's like, oh, I mean, it looks, visually, it does look good. Like, again, I'm a little skeptical because, like, I want to see how it actually looks on, like, a real system of somebody actually playing.
Mm-hmm. It looks like a Xenoblade, Xenoblade for the Wii U.
Yeah. So, like,
that's what it reminded me of. You get in your mech suit and you go out into the world.
Right. The mech suit, for some reason, like, normally I like the mech suit stuff. Like Fallout 4, I love fucking power armor. Like, I like that feel for some reason. And just seeing this game, like, it's not doing it for me.
It reminded me
of,
like,
surprised because, like,
Hawk.
There's different suits. Like, it seems like you have, like, just your, like, one character, but you have multiple suits. So, like, if you want to be a tank,
it's an interesting concept, though.
Right. So that's kind of cool. But again, like, I don't like the backward hinge fucking springy leg shit. Like, that's just something that just bothers me weird. The third person shooting, like,
I don't
Mass Effect does it really
games.
Well.
Yeah,
like, that was the best thing about Andromeda. Like, it's a really fun system, but like, Andromeda is probably maybe the best. That's just because it was very fast paced. And what from I've seen of Anthem, it looks kind of slower, and I don't know, it's just because you're in these big mechs. So, like, if you're the tank, obviously
Gears of
you need
War.
to be like, like, it doesn't
Gears
seem
of War
like
is
you
a good
have
comparison.
like a lot of skill options. Like, it seemed like you only had like 3 or 4 that I could see on the bar. Like, it didn't really
maybe
seem
your
like
skills are based on your armor, though. I mean, so maybe you can get like 20 different sets of armor, and
but I mean, just like
who
that
knows?
gets, like, I don't know. Like, it didn't really do anything for me. Like, it didn't look bad, but it didn't like get me excited. There wasn't really anything in there that made me like just like, oh, look at that. Like, again, like, I've seen so many of these games where people like overpromise shit. Where now when they say like, we got like this living world that you can just do, I'm like, shut the fuck up. No, you don't. Like, prove it.
I mean, what I like from the trailer, which I hope is real and not just them, showing off and then changing it later on, is just the exploration. I really like they go underwater, they find a cave, they get
Right.
experience points for finding the cave, and it looks open world,
That's
which
why
I'm super fucking skeptical about whenever I
Yeah,
see
right.
something that looks open world.
right.
Because that's like with the Mass Effect and drama. It's like, hey, it's just open world shit, and guess what? That was
It's what they did with
not
Destiny
open world
originally.
bullshit.
right.
Yeah.
And that's
With
where
Destiny,
I get
they showed complete open world.
Right.
That's
They
where I
said,
get
well, it's
the-
open world because there's no ceiling. Fuck you.
that's where I get the Xenoblade. Xenoblade was full open world, fantastic game. You could run out and be on like foot and explore the world, or later on in the game you unlock your robots. And your robots, you get different kits, you get different types of robots, you get all these different suits, and you get inside of it and it allows you to do different things in combat. You can upgrade your suits. You earn experience for exploring the areas. There are creatures that you don't want to fight until you're a higher level, just like in the video where they go, oh, that thing's scary, we'll come back later. Like, you could fly way up
Fuck
into
that.
the sky.
I would have gone after that. Fucking. I was mad at that right there. Like, ooh, I don't like the looks of that. I'm like, no, fuck you, dude. You fight that,
But
bitch.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
it looks good.
I feel it does. I feel very skeptical,
yeah,
but
and I think
it does
part of
look
it
good.
is like I'll admit it. Like I'm on the D2 hype train. Like that's
Mhm.
like the game I'm looking for the most, and this is like kind of occupying that same space for me of like a spacey shooter with loot and explosion shit, and I'm just like, I'm already gonna be playing a game like that. Like,
I'll be honest. I mean, if it's as cool as it looks, and they aren't just lying to us about it, and it comes out at a time when there's like a lapse in content between
Right.
D2,
and it
it's
seems
something
like
I would pick up.
it might because it's what they said early 2018.
Early
is kind of
2018. Yeah.
so maybe so that's like enough time with Destiny 2 to kind of get like a really good feel for that game. If that's something that's going to be like the life sync that it potentially might be, or if it's not that good and it kind of follows the track of Destiny 1 where there's not enough shit to do, or it's just not really polished well, and this could be a good place for this game to hop in. But like, I just need to see more. I want to see not scripted E3 footage. Like, I want to see like a beta, and like I want to see beta footage of this game.
Yeah, it looks
like it's definitely a game like at this point like I would not pre-order at all, but I would definitely get all the footage I can from it, really listen to like people like YouTubers and streamers I trust, get their opinion on it, and kind of at that point decide if like, well, wait till it releases. But knowing BioWare, there's going to be some bullshit with the editions they release and pre-order stuff, so that right there has me worried.
Did you guys
But
notice
it-
as
I-
well, for all the games that are getting released, it looks like a lot of them are going to fall into the same life cycle that this year did in 2017. There's a lot of
Yeah.
games coming out early 2018. It's not
Yeah.
Weird because
end of
like
year.
this year broke that mold of like like the end of year thing.
It was
where
always
it's,
like
all
October,
the good
November,
games.
December.
Yeah, and this year it was like hit like right off like January, February, like just fucking like
Tons
game,
of
game,
games.
game, and like just now like I'm at this point where like I can like breathe and like, all right, I can like go back and play some of these fucking games before like Destiny 2 comes out, where I'm just gonna sink a bunch of time in that. Like I have this like 2-month period where like I can play something else. Like I'm not like overwhelmed with all this fucking games. I think I like that timeline better, because the end of the year, I mean, there's like holidays type of stuff. Like it gets a little crazy. Like I get there's vacations and shit that goes on for little fuckers, and that's like a good time. But
Children,
I
little
like- I like-
fuckers.
yeah, I like this early year cycle a lot better, because normally like just generally the beginning of the year is kind of shitty just in life. We
You're
live in the
poor, too.
Northeast.
It's a-
cold as
It's a rough time
cold
for
as
money.
fuck. Pretty much most things like blow their load at the end of the year. Like like TV shows, movies. Like it's just like bah, like you just get all this
Yep.
shit at once, and then like the first 3 months of the year, it's just like, well, taxes are coming, fucking fantastic. Like you don't have anything to really look forward, and like this year was awesome. It was like January, like I forget what released in January. but it was like
We had Pit People in January, which didn't technically release, but it was there.
There was like some sort of sleeper hit that was also good and stuff, but it was just like every year, like every month, something like decent, like a couple things got released. So it was like
Persona 5,
Horizon.
right, like
Horizon.
it was just pretty much nonstop.
Yeah, I mean, it's smart,
and it
honestly,
felt
because people are getting their tax returns around that time. They're probably more likely to buy the game as it
There's
launches.
nothing else to fucking buy. I mean, you think about the end of the year, you have to buy gifts and like, shit.
Which is a good time for games too.
Yeah, as far as selling for gifts, but I don't know. I liked it kind of spread out from just going from the last 3 months of the year to kind of spreading it. Last 3 months, first 3 months is like the big gaming hoopla, and kind of spreading those good games out a little bit more. So, you can actually fucking buy them for one thing and actually have the time to play it. Because I think that I know I've missed out on so many games because like 3 or 4 games come out at the same time that I'm interested in, but like I can only dedicate time to like 1 or 2 or even buy 1 or 2 rationally. So those other 2 just get left behind, and then like a year later I might come back and pick that up if I'm not doing anything. I think maybe they're starting to see that value and kind of stretching out, especially if you're like I think a lot of the big titles this year, when they released early in the year, they had no other competition because like no other big titles were releasing. So like that was it. Like I don't think anything when Horizon Zero Dawn released, I don't think there was any other major.
Nier. It had to compete with Nier was a big one. Neo
that's true.
also came out.
Oh God, I forgot.
I mean, those are kind of more
I'm trying to
niche
think.
games, in my opinion, though,
Yeah.
especially Neo.
Right. It's not like. I guess I'm more thinking of something like COD and Battlefield being released around the same time, and like Titanfall. Like you have these like kind of like a bunch of first-person shooters where you go like, which one am I going to play? Because they're all kind of competing. Where like I think like people who either play Neo, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Nier Automata, those are kind of like 3 very different games. Like kind of appeal to like a kind of like different groups of people. There's definitely people who would play all 3 of those, but like most people that pick up Neo are people who are into Souls games.
Honor
I did it on purpose.
and Mass Effect.
It's only dumb motherfuckers would spend money on those pieces of shit and waste 3 months of their lives playing it.
I'm sorry that happened
But-
to you.
I am too. But like like so so Neo was like a Souls game. So that's like people who were into like Souls games probably picked that up. Horizon was like the open world, kind of its own thing. I don't really know what to compare it to because that game it's just kind of its own deal now in my mind.
There's a Tom Clancy
Nier
game
Automata-
too. Came out
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah, there's only like 50,000 of those fucking things. And Nier Automata was like it's like a JRPG type of thing, action game. So
Open
I don't think
world.
they competed. I don't think they competed with each other that much because they were different enough to like kind of hit different player bases.
Yeah.
And they all sold like fucking hotcakes, man. I remember trying to get Neo. That bitch was sold out just about everywhere. Like I called 7 different stores to see if they had any copies, and I got like the last one at just one store. Like I was just like, I don't think I'm getting this game, but I'm gonna stop at I don't remember if it was like Target or GameStop, but they're just like, oh, we got 1 copy left. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah. I think
who's buying this shit?
the other big game you were thinking of that came out when you were talking about Horizon, I think it was Breath of the Wild. That was the other
That's right.
very large game
Yeah.
that came out this year. Open world style.
Big fucking games.
Yeah,
Mass
it seems
Effect,
like
that was
all of the
shit.
small first-person shooters came out at the end of the year. All of the giant open-world games came out at the beginning of the year, so we could play those until the next first-person shooter came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. It was a crazy year.
Yeah, it was a great year, and it looks like they're doing it again. However, I did notice the Horizon said 2017, so that's going to come out this year, which is pretty great.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's a good turnaround time too, to have an expansion come out within 9 months. Be pretty great.
That's what you want, though. You want
Yeah.
it just to the point where, like, you know, if you're really into the game, like you've like platinum it or some shit, like, you know, you've played enough to get everything, or that gives enough time for people who didn't get it at release to kind of hop in, get a little going, and like somebody like you, Pheno, like if you want to hop back in, like you played it, and like enough time has passed where you go like, well, I really want to get back into it, so it's like almost brand new again. Like it's like it seems like it's a really good cycle of not having you completely forget, but being able to hop back in and kind of get refreshed and like re-experience that world again.
So did you guys see Metro Exodus?
Mm-mm.
I don't really care.
The new Metro game? So the Metro
I've never really
games,
been a fan of Metro games.
I haven't given
They're
a shit about
fantastic.
Metroid since Super Metroid.
Metro, not Metroid. Metro.
Metro?
Metro.
No, I didn't.
So there's
I didn't see
Metro and there's Metro Last
Are
Light.
you saying Metro?
and there's
Metro.
Metro 2033.
METRO.
ID?
No.
Metro?
Not
What?
the Nintendo property.
Method?
Metro Exodus looks
Is it a rapper?
fantastic. It looks really good. I'd
don't
recommend
That'd be a
listen
cool
to the
name.
hip-hop.
checking out the trailer for that. It did
I've
look
heard
really
they're good.
Yeah, they are. They're fantastic games. They're very
Is
hard.
there anything special
sluggish.
about it?
The graphics were
It's just-
fucking top notch.
They always have been for the Metro games, though. Like the original Metro and Metro, 2033,
Yep.
were PC benchmark games for a
Yeah, for-
long time.
Well, it's 2033 and its
long
Last
time.
Light. 2033 is the original. So it's Metro 2033 and then
Is it?
Metro
Okay.
Last Light. I think they're two different. Yeah.
I don't know.
That
Yeah,
sounds right.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Um,
But I know that Metro 2033, at least, like it was what people used to test their PCs after Crisis.
Right. Yeah.
They're
Move over,
gorgeous.
Crisis.
And then my one question before we start wrapping up here is, were you guys disappointed not to see Borderlands 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of really expected
I was-
it. I was disappointed.
I was hoping because like when was it? 2 or 3 months ago, they like, who are the fuckers that make that? 2K.
2K.
They own this thing where they showed the system, like the game engine for Borderlands 3. They said like,
Right.
these
the
are the type of shit we
physics
can do.
and-
So like, people are just like, oh shit, we're gonna see something soon because they're showing the engine. They have some assets made for it. I'm really disappointed because like it's been a long fucking time. Like it's been enough time for a new Borderlands game, and I need that shit in my life because I love that game series. It's amazing, and like the jump from Borderlands 1 to Borderlands 2 was just like huge, like a giant leap.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping we see something like that in Borderlands 3. I don't know. Like, yeah, I mean, now that you mentioned, I'm really disappointed and
It
kind of
surprised
sad.
me that it wasn't there. Like, I kept expecting
I hope-
something for it.
I hope we get something at least by the end of the year. I hope.
I bet we
like, I'm
will.
hoping they're doing this as in like, guess what? Like, it's closer than you think to release, rather than this like give you a teaser trailer, then it's like still a year and a half out. Like, I don't think I could handle that shit at this point because it's been. Fuck, when did Borderlands 2 come out? Like 2012?
It was a PS3 title
Was it?
initially, so
Yeah, wasn't it PS3?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was PS3, Xbox, so it would have had to been at least 2011 or 2012. 'Cause PS4 was 2013. Handsome Jack collection
2012.
2012.
Yeah, so
Yep.
fucking 5 years, man. Like, that's.
It's been over 2 years since the Handsome collection came out.
Yeah, but I mean, that was just like all the DLC, and then they just used 1080p graphics.
Yep.
60
So-
FPS. Yeah.
But yeah, so
Need something,
yeah,
or else I'm gonna just. I don't think it's gonna happen. Like, it's a long time.
you
Like,
get Battleborn 2. So, starting to wrap up, I want to kind of go out on a couple different questions. For starters, I'd like to ask you guys what the number one game is that you were hoping to see here but didn't see here. Just really quick. So, Dave, what was a game you were expecting and wanted to see here but didn't see at E3 this year?
I mean,
anything, any game series you would love to see.
I did kind of want to see Final Fantasy VII because it's the first one that I ever played. It's really nostalgic for me, even though they're completely changing pretty much everything about the combat system and everything. I did want to see something about it because it's been like a full year since they released anything at all. So I was really expecting it, and to not see it, I just,
Zudu?
Besides Borderlands, I think I don't know, just something like the new Pokemon game, either for Switch or the new 3DS versions that are coming out soon. Like I was a little surprised they didn't have anything on that at all, besides just a little snippet of like, yeah, we're making something. Like I would have really liked to see anything, especially when there's been so much like leaked information and basically people saying like, there's all these like crazy assets in the games and like they're buying these like fucking websites and shit. What does this mean? I think but when you mention it, probably Borderlands 3 the most, but right under that, like just nothing new as far as new Pokemon.
I'm gonna have to say the one thing that I was really expecting but didn't get was a different iteration of the PS4. I was expecting a handheld version of the PS4. I was expecting something an announcement of something to compete with the Switch.
Yeah.
Something, because of the way it's selling.
Me and Dave are both very disappointed they did not announce a PS4 Pro Destiny 2 bundle. That just sucks. That's like, I'm shocked that they didn't do that. Like, and that would be like the one to start on because it has so much, it's what they did with the original PlayStation. Like that was like their first special bundle. They haven't done a like PS4 Pro bundle yet, and that would be,
they're working together so much. Like
it would just make
sense.
Sony's been
supporting them so much, it would make sense. And yeah, it's weird that they didn't do that.
Sony's holding it for that conference that you were mentioning earlier, Dave, and they're going to announce it then.
Well, I mean, it's fucking like 2.5 months away.
Yeah,
that's
like, that's point, way too close.
Didn't announce it.
But they might hold on and sell the PlayStation with the game during the holiday season and already try to get their like marketing wise, it makes more sense to sell the game than sell the system with the game after people already buy the game. Like logically, that is the smart way to do it.
Right.
That's true.
So after the game comes out, expect it.
Might mean they're focusing more on the PlayStation 5 because I would say with the next year is when we're going to hear about it because it's generally, what's a console cycle? Generally 5-ish years before the new one comes out.
Yep.
Isn't that what it's typically?
It's usually 4. Like something we should have already seen the new generation technically.
Yeah. But I mean, these ones are still, they're going strong, and I think we're getting that point technology-wise where like, again, like, because they're pushing the 4K things, we're at this weird junction where like, if you really want to go into the next wave, it's like 4K, like 120 FPS, graphics is like, that's like pretty much like the next like big jump.
Yeah.
And power-wise, like just like, that's like a fucking $2,000 PC if you want to do that shit. So like trying to get that in like the $300 to $500 console is like, it's like on that cusp. Like we're just waiting for that like next wave of technology that makes it more affordable and easier to do that. And I just don't think like there's always been like the race of like, you're kind of like the hardware's chasing what the graphics want to do, right? Mm-hmm. So like the PlayStation 2 like pushed the fuck out of that system. Like if you look at what was the first one, like Final Fantasy, usually Final Fantasies are like pretty much a good indicator graphics wise. So if you look at Final Fantasy 10 versus 12, like big jump. Like 12 is like an amazing PlayStation 2 game, like graphically, like The scope of that is
Yeah.
pretty incredible. And I just don't think it's weird. Like I think they can push the systems, but like not in the right way. Like they're basically just overloading it. Like they might make an open world game where there's just too much shit to load versus, because graphically, both the PS4 and the Xbox One, like the regular versions, can handle 1080p, like amazing graphics just fine. Like the shit they're showing now is still just incredible. Like I don't think they need that bump yet, so I think they're waiting for that next wave of technology that makes that 4K 60 120 FPS possible at the right price point. I think they're going to push these systems a lot longer than any other generation.
So speaking of Final Fantasy 12, the remaster comes out next month.
Shit, I'm gonna have to get that.
Yep, I already got it pre-ordered. I am looking forward to that.
Great.
Yeah.
So the next question I have for you guys is, out of everything that they did announce, what is the game you're the most excited about?
No.
Destiny 2. Come on,
Seriously?
man.
Out of everything
Yeah.
here?
Still.
Yep.
Yeah, still. Well, I'm not going to give it Destiny 2 because I've already known about that. Like, E3 was more like for Destiny 2 showing like, hey, this is the new subclass, a little bit more reveal. So it wasn't really. I'm not going to count that.
All right, that's
So
fair.
yeah, because it wasn't like announced at E3. They just kind of gave us a little more information. So
Right.
that should be discluded. So in that, I'm going to say the Dragon Ball Fighter Z. If I can, I still got a hard on thinking about that game. Just looks incredible.
And I mean, for announcements, I would pick God of War, but they announced that previously. Monster Hunter World. I don't know if that was announced previously or not. I didn't see anything
I don't
about
think
it before
so.
that.
I didn't hear shit about it.
But I was very, very hyped for that because I've wanted a Monster Hunter game on PlayStation since I played the PS2 versions like 12 years ago or whatever the hell it was.
I'm going to go with the game I'm most looking forward to is going to be Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Out of all the stuff here, a portable, full-fledged RPG with open world. Give me that on my Switch,
Yeah,
and I'm a happy camper.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
That should be really good.
I'm looking forward to that the most out of pretty much everything here.
Word.
Yeah. So I think that's about where we're going to wrap it up. I mean, I just recorded the entire podcast with episode 14 at the bottom of the screen, so...
What episode is it?
15.
That's nuts.
It's not that off, but, I mean...
Still wrong.
I put the pen drive in with the
fine.
thumbnail. I was all set to put it, and just for some fucked up reason, I forgot to put it there. So the whole video, it's sitting there. For some reason, I just looked down, and I'm like... It's a 14 there.
Fuck.
That sucks. So,
Yeah.
apologies to our viewers if you noticed that. Whatever. It happens every once in a while.
I think most of them just listen to us anyway.
Yeah,
so.
it's not watchable. Nobody wants to watch this.
That's right.
Nobody wants to watch this. Everyone listens. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys have the smooth, buttery voices, and
What are you talking about?
I am like, "Argh!" the whole fucking time. So,
It's Dave Zoodude and the Macaw.
So, yeah, this has been the E3 episode of the Unwatchable podcast. Zoodude, what is coming up on your channel, and where can people find you?
Who the fuck knows? So,
I have literally waited the past 9 hours to ask you that question and see what you say.
You know, bitch. So I'm gonna kind of do a little bit of a rebranding on my channel. I've kind of like narrowed down to what I want to do is basically like Destiny and fighting game stuff. So like right now it's just gonna be Destiny and Injustice 2 content. Then Destiny 2 comes out, I'll switch over to that, and yeah, that's what I'm gonna focus on. Kind of be more in the vein of my For Honor stuff, where it's probably going to be more goofy than anything serious. God forbid someday actually I'm good enough to actually teach somebody something, but that might happen. But things are going to look different, probably different feel. I'm probably going to make a video, just like a channel update, just doing that, and then making a new banner and icon because I have to do that. I may have to do somebody else's first though, or else he's going to shit a kitten. I told you, July 2017, it would be done. I don't know why you're...
July? I never got July. I got the May one. I didn't know it was July now.
I said maybe July.
I don't recall ever reading that. I saw May, and then I was like, hey, it's June. You have no proof, sir. And then I saw June 1st, and then all I got was TBA after that. And I'm like, well, it's never showing up. And then yesterday, or 2 days ago, you swung by, and I'm like, oh my god, he's looking for me. He has it. I'm so excited. And then you come back, and you're like, I'm bored, and you just stand there and work. I'm like, well, all my hopes and dreams are just... So... But no, I'm excited to see what you do with the revamp. I did a channel rebrand early on, and there's a good chunk of work to it. So... and I can't wait to start getting some more of your content.
So I kind of lied. I did make one ghosty, and I was waiting for the podcast to show you it.
Liar! It's completely white. That's a dick.
It's a ghost dick.
Or a really crappy rocket ship.
Hey.
Oh man.
Whatever gets you off.
And that's why there's a warning at the beginning of this video. So Dave.
Right.
What's coming up on your channel, and where can people find you? I hate you.
You can find me right here on YouTube. And what's coming up on my channel is Persona 5.
Hey, have you beat it yet?
No. I'm going to upload... I'm going to try and stick to just one video a day to not burn myself out. I am up to almost 100 videos uploaded now. I saw that, which I didn't think that I was that high. So
well done, sir.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just going to do one video a day. I'm probably going to rotate Persona 5, maybe Destiny. The Surge, I haven't been having fun when I've been playing it, so I don't know if that's going to continue.
That's because you really enjoyed that, like, initially.
Did it prey you?
I did. It kind of did, yeah. It's not that it's too difficult or anything like that. I haven't been having fun. It's too easy. That's actually what it is. Regular enemies are too easy. Bosses are a little bit harder, but I don't know. I'm not having a super fun time playing it. But I do have a bunch of other games, so I don't know. I have a lot of stuff to play. There will be more stuff coming up.
Great.
That's it.
Fantastic. I have to talk now, don't I? I have a bunch of stuff coming up on the channel. Sadly.
No way.
Sadly, yeah. So I'm changing some of the way I upload and some of the content that I upload here on the channel. It's gonna be some changes coming. I am getting burnt out.
Like less shit. Like not fucking 8 videos a day.
So personally, I am getting a little burnt out.
No way.
Don't get me flagged. Come on. Don't get it flagged.
It's short enough that you can't get flagged because I've been doing this in my videos for a long time now.
Yeah, so I've started to get a little burnt out. Gonna wind back a little bit. I'm gonna have a lot of different games here on the channel, but the episode layouts are gonna be a little more sporadic. I'm looking at doing 4 to 5 games on the channel, but I will not do more than 4 or 5 games. So if I want to play a new game, I'm going to axe one of those 5s, kind of creating a limitation. And I'm only going to do...
ask it a question?
Axe the game. Axe, as in...
May I ask you a question?
So, yeah, I'm going to be talking about that in my channel update this week, and the other changes that are coming. Other than that, I am starting Ori and the Blind Forest. I am very excited to play that game. Dead
so
Cells.
We're not cutting.
Dead Cells is getting cut.
Saw that coming.
I understand.
I love the game. It is fantastic, but it has
But
now
you know
been
what? You
4
can
days.
just fucking play it for you and not worry about other people
Yeah,
not
That's right.
watching it.
it's good, and I'm gonna come back to it. They added some fun new stuff, so I already have a couple episodes ready for this week, but after that, it's gonna be done. Mini Masters is sticking around. I'm not getting rid of that. Everybody loves that series. I'm awful at the game. People love to point that out, but I'm going to keep playing it. Gwent is fantastic. I'm going to keep playing that here on the channel. What else do I play? Monster Slayers. That's another thing I play. Playing that with the wife. Going to keep playing that for now, but that will most likely be the next game to get cut, due to the fact that when I hit 10,000 views here on the channel, that video will no longer
That
be...
just gets flagged to fuck, doesn't it?
Every episode. I have 25 episodes up. 10 of them have been flagged.
Wow.
So
That's a ratio.
Thank you. Thank you for that. It's a bummer because the game is fantastic, and if the devs could just get their shit a little cleaner so it doesn't get flagged all the time. It's multiple companies. It's always different shit that flags it, and it's just obnoxious. So
Speaking of that, I downloaded just a random playlist off Amazon Prime for the music, and there's a song on there that's on Pit People. And I was like, listen to it, I'm like, this sounds really familiar.
is it
I'm
the
like,
Goblin Army song? The Goblin...
No, like I don't remember what it's called, but I'm just like, this is fucking from Pit People, those sons of bitches. And like all that music was like, it's old music. Like it's been out old, like within like 3 to 5 years. It seems like a lot of that music was just like out, and they're just like, well, this fits the game.
Yeah.
And guess what, motherfuckers? We can't do anything with it.
Yep. If you want to make any money off of it, you kind of screwed your audience. And I wonder if that's a new thing that game developers have started to do, is if they don't want their games on YouTube, to manipulate their audio in order to
'Cause
keep people from playing it.
That was like a big thing with Final Fantasy 13, because it had that bitch who sang a song. So it was like a single that was like the main theme of like the fucking story. So like people were like getting that shit. Like a lot of people made a separate channel just for their Final Fantasy 13 playthrough, so it wouldn't they wouldn't get strikes on their actual channel, because it was just like they were so touchy about it, because it was all over the anytime there's a cutscene, it was just that really lame fucking whatever.
But yeah, so got all kinds of fun stuff on the channel. As always, make sure to check out all of our channels. We all have great content there. It's all fairly different. We all have different play styles, different editing styles, and different recording styles. So come check us all out. Give all of our videos
I'm a very
likes.
calm player. I don't get competitive or anything when I play.
Where's the rage video?
Oh, I'm scared to make it, because I have to I have the files up. I'm just like, there's gonna be moments when I'm not proud of myself. Just a straight up asshole. I don't like it.
I do
have I've got the recording of the guy who sent me the message after that one Crucible match.
Oh yeah?
That was good.
It was pretty funny. You guys, you guys are unwatchable. You get it.
I
Good
think that's a
job,
compliment.
motherfucker.
Thanks.
So yeah, all kinds of fun stuff. I do have a video that went up on Friday. Please go check that out. It's the video that I'm trying to do whatever I can to get it promoted and viewed and just spread like the plague that it is. It's how to get 1 million views on YouTube. Give that a check. It is hilarious. It's me just being a fucking sarcastic asshole, and it's great. It's only a few minutes long. So go check that out. Yeah. So make sure you check all of us out. Go hang out with us. If you made it this far into the video and you enjoyed what we did here, give us a like. And I'd love to see down in the comment section below, #Pheno fuck up the episode counter.
Now, listen though, I'm going to give people something to talk about in the comment section.
No, please don't.
This is our E3 episode.
No.
And I decided that I'd do something special.
No.
So I'm going to make myself truly unwatchable.
No,
Oh,
no.
shit, dude.
What's he doing? What's he doing? What is going on?
Oh god. Oh no.
Oh no. What the fuck?
What the fuck is he doing? Did he beat the shit out of his camera? Oh, God.
Hey guys, I got a new webcam.
I'm glad you did.
Holy shit.
Come on.
I'm done
Thank
now.
you all. Thank you all so much for watching the Unwatchable podcast. It has been great. Thank you all. And as always, till the next video. You gonna get it to work? Is it gonna work?
I need to. Wait. To find one. God damn it.
Nobody
Too many buttons.
is still watching. We're still recording and nobody is still watching.
Hey, hold on. Don't leave yet, people. Hold on. I gotta make this work.
Why are the parts inside of a webcam sticky?
Because it's from Cam Soda.
Oh, that's really
The
weird.
quality of my podcast is so gone.
Hey, motherfucker, this is our podcast.
Our podcast is wrong.
God damn it.
What are you
Fucking-
doing?
I don't know. I'm just gonna end on this.
Dave is dead.
All right, we're done.